Welcome back to 1010's podcast. My name is Michael Beck with Adam Nielsen and Mr. Handsome Robbie. How is everybody doing today?
Oh, kind of.
Don't start the show with that sort of attitude.
I'm doing awesome.
Negative Nielsen.
Negative Nielsen.
I actually had to work today at work, so I'm not really, today can just go away.
I'm back to a normal routine. I'm feeling good.
Thank you,
No
Robbie.
more training?
No, actually,
That's your normal routine.
all of
now.
yesterday was ethics training from beginning.
Oh, that's got to be
from
the
beginning
worst
of the day
training.
to the end of the day. They were shockingly entertaining, though.
I feel like I would disagree with a lot of them.
Did you have to
for
watch
the
those,
sake of humanity, I would hope that's not true. It's pretty common morals.
I suppose I have.
There's a video of
ethics.
there's a video of a boss rubbing this girl's neck and touching her really.
That's what I was going to ask
really
you. If you had to
inappropriate.
watch those videos.
And it's just what went wrong here?
I don't know.
He groped her.
Dave was groping Karen for no reason at all. That's probably went wrong.
Is that okay? No.
Karen was probably
That's common
asking
sense.
for it,
That's
though.
No,
okay.
Karen was not asking for it. It's not the 50s anymore. You can't say that.
Yeah, they tried
Damn it.
to muddy it up a little bit to well, she kind of was. They've been friendly for years and blah blah. blah.
Oh, yeah.
Not
she was
okay.
definitely asking
Not
for
okay.
it then.
Mr. Rape Culture.
It's not okay.
It's not okay.
Adam needs that training,
So
that ethics training.
I don't think so.
So that's all I got for work. But we can start this off with Adam's opener, if you know
If you know what I
I mean.
mean.
God
This is
damn,
the new
you guys
bit.
are fucking ridiculous.
This is the new bit we put together for Adam. It's called Adam's Opener,
No.
If you know what I mean.
comma, if you know what I mean.
No.
He's like, oh, I got this opener. Let's start the show with this. So now it's called Adam's
Maybe
Opener.
we'll just. Maybe I don't even want to do that.
You have to
Maybe
now.
we'll
We
just
can't.
skip it.
People are waiting now, though. They're
Fine. So
listening.
today I'm at Casey's getting stuff, and I see up in the corner of their cooler, Water Joe. Have you
Okay.
heard of this?
No, you got
Water
a picture
Joe?
of it though.
Yes, I want you to read that label to the
Not as
world.
cool as Water Yo. So it's the Water Joe. I'm zooming in here. Caffeinated.
What?
It's caffeinated water, apparently, Robbie. It has 85 milligrams of caffeine, which is probably similar to a cup of coffee. And it's
Isn't that double what a cup of coffee
it's
is?
23. Depends on what kind of coffee you drink.
I suppose.
Not the pussy coffee.
Yeah,
or-
not the shit coffee that you make.
That's not true.
24 ounces.
But I feel like that's Michael right there. It's probably annoyingly expensive, which means you'll just assume that it's good, and it has lots of caffeine in it.
Well,
I don't know about
I'm
lots,
I'm
but-
on board with the caffeine.
Does it taste like shit though? 'Cause
I don't know.
it's
I
got
didn't buy
caffeine in
it because
I'd be more apt to try this than the box water that we found when we went to Grid
box
Life.
of water. Who doesn't?
What's it
You
called?
can get that at Hy-Vee.
Water in a box.
Water in a box.
You
Yeah,
can get that at any grocery store around here.
but it's like $3 a box.
I know, it's out of
and it's a
control.
box of water.
But the box
it's not-
is biodegradable and recycled.
But I can't imagine that water that comes out of a box tastes very good because it's like soaking into cardboard. I don't care how much
It's it's
wax
How
is
much
in it.
wax you put in it?
Yeah. Use your phone
But
back.
yeah, I just thought that caffeinated water was
I'd try it.
That's your jam.
I'd be more apt to try that than the box of
I don't
water.
know if it's it doesn't say anything about it being mineral water. So
I might be out then.
That's
I don't
got to be
know.
better for you than
It
that.
needs to have minerals or
it's next to smart water. So that's good.
I'll try it if I can find it because I wonder.
Casey's.
I literally wonder if it tastes like shit.
Casey's.
Casey's.
All right.
Yeah.
This week.
Apparently, breakfast pizza is a somewhat regional thing.
I think it is
What?
too. Yeah, other places don't have breakfast pizza. Right?
Yeah, Katie. So I have some of Katie's family is here living with me right now from Pennsylvania.
Uh-huh.
And that was not a thing to
Blew
them.
their mind that we
Yeah.
have breakfast pizza.
And so to anybody who's listening to this that doesn't live in at least this part of the Midwest, I feel sorry for you because if you've never had, especially Casey's breakfast pizza, you haven't lived. Frankly,
I've even had breakfast pizza at high school. That was a thing.
yeah,
But yeah, I think
We've had
he's
that
right.
my whole life.
you can buy it from the freezer section.
Yeah.
Pasquale's.
No.
That can't be good.
Absolutely
Oh,
not.
they're delicious.
Are they really?
Pasquale's are really good. Pasquale's are made in Humboldt. They're handmade
Oh,
and
really?
delivered to local grocery stores. They're awesome.
Well, shit, I'm learning things about breakfast pizza. I just had Casey's. That's all. The other day I was.
Casey's is good though.
I went through. I did one of
My
those
jam.
cuts. That, you know what I mean?
Just one of these
Like health cuts?
yeah,
Like weight
getting
cuts?
swole things.
Yeah, where I'll
You'll
know
bulk for a while.
I'll
then
bulk
you'll
for a
cut
while and I'll cut back a little bit. But I have when you do that, normally when I eat it's like 8,000 calories all the time, and now all of a sudden I'm down to like a quarter of that. And so I'm trying, I'm eating like normal portions of food, and I get really bad cravings. So I thought about the other day, when I had a cheap meal, I was like, I should just order a large Casey's breakfast pizza and eat that whole fucking thing.
Yeah, for sure.
You'll regret that, but yeah.
No, I'll regret it.
It'd be great
No.
for like 10 minutes.
I'll feel like shit the next day.
for the next couple days, probably.
Yeah. That's how you know
That's a
you're-
lot of cheese that's not going to leave your system for a while.
Right. We were talking about things that make you realize that you're getting old. And when you eat something and the next day you don't feel right, that's when you know you're starting to get old.
I don't have that.
You don't have that?
No,
Because you eat garbage
I eat
all
garbage.
day, every day.
So garbage in, garbage out. So
You
I
just
just
feel the same all the time?
He's always felt
It's
bad.
whatever.
Okay.
He's never felt good.
That makes sense.
Probably.
I know
true,
this
Yeah,
from skating with him. It was, we have to find the crappiest food.
I'm way better now than I was then
That's probably true.
because I basically don't do any extreme physical labor like I used to skating. And although I've put on a few pounds, I definitely haven't put on a ton.
No.
Given my so I had to change something, and I sure as hell wasn't going to get a gym membership.
Priorities, bro.
So
You can eat all you want if you go to the gym.
I literally ate a large pepperoni pizza by myself the other
I
day.
couldn't eat a large pepperoni pizza if I wanted to.
I had Arby's last night at like 9 o'clock.
What's
And
wrong
I-
with that?
I don't know. People,
that's not normal.
You're not supposed to eat that late because it's like the worst thing for you.
Oh God, I'm screwed.
Anyways,
This is a carb
carb
podcast.
podcast.
That's right. Yeah, this is
a carb podcast, maybe.
Ooh, that's a secondary podcast
Heyo.
we could do. But you
I'd
could
be
find
a terrible host of that show.
No, you love carbs.
yeah.
That's true. I do love.
You could list
carbs.
off all the carbs you ate that day.
That would be the worst show that anybody's ever listened to.
but people
fine.
would listen to it.
They probably would.
It'd probably be more popular than this
Probably
show.
more popular than this show. Somebody just talking about how the fact that they've eaten a pizza and an entire loaf of bread. Yeah, unfortunately.
You've listed off the things I had for meals today.
And on that note, if you want to find this car podcast, you can find us at 1010s Podcast, basically everywhere, including 1010spodcast.com, where we have new stuff in the store, right?
We do.
I put stuff in the store.
You did. I
It
fixed
took
it.
me a long time, and I figured
It
out.
shouldn't have taken that long.
I didn't realize how you do it, and so I was completely lost. But I got it done.
I was able.
Since you've added the hats,
Yeah.
Since you didn't even say they were hats,
Yeah.
I've had one person request the other logo
On a hat?
on a hat.
it won't work. You
No?
can't. You can't. It's embroidered.
stitched, yeah.
It's embroidered. So
Oh.
that logo's not gonna.
That's why we haven't had him up until this point.
Well, there you go, Spencer. That's why we can't have that.
Spencer asked for that?
Yeah.
That sneaky person.
Hey, we were we were at the car show, and he was all like, "Oh, I kind of want a hat," but Michael was all like, "You got to get a hat," and I wish it was the other logo.
How dare he? How dare he not come to me?
I think he didn't want to hurt your feelings.
No, it's fine. It's fine. No, I'll get a
And
hat
now
for
everyone
myself.
knows how hurt your feelings
I am.
are.
My feelings are hurt because I added those just for him because I know he wears hats.
We're both getting nasty text messages right now.
I know, but that's fine.
Yeah.
That's what he gets. That's what he gets for talking behind my back. Like that shit's not going to come out later. So check out the store if you like a hat. We have both snapbacks and FlexFit hats.
And it is getting to be car show and race season, so you need your 1010s gear.
1010s gear, 1010s tanks.
Lots
Suns
of
out,
tanks.
guns out.
Suns out, guns out.
For the record, I dropped the price on all the tanks this week.
Oh, shit.
Snap.
Tanks are on sale.
Well, it's not on sale. Our profit margin is now
Lower.
much lower.
We're taking a cut for you.
Yeah, I went through and changed things. I mean,
Did you?
we're not making shit on them anyways, so who cares?
It's just whatever.
Yep, we want them out
I
there.
hope people want to rock our stuff.
Yep, that's all I care about. I'm not making money on these. We want people to just wear them.
Do we have, so for tanks, we got the drift style tank,
Uh-huh.
right? Do we have the old logo or just a drift tank?
We got the drift tank, 2 different types of the old logo,
Okay.
and then the Razorback for the ladies.
Oh, shit. I forgot we had
Actually,
the Razorback.
we got 2 different Razorbacks for the ladies.
And then we got regular shirts. We got the new logo shirts,
Hoodies, hats,
hoodies. We got
pillows, coffee mugs.
some- Spencer did order a pillow, so I'll give him that.
That
Yeah,
looks
he gets
damn
a
did
pass.
good.
finally.
It looks good in his house.
And Adam Jabay, I don't know if he ever really did. He ever buy a pillow?
Excuse me.
I don't think he did.
I don't think
he
Jabay said.
He specifically messaged me and said he would.
Oh, snap. I don't think he did.
He told me that he saw 3 or 4 of the Man Crush T-shirts at
Mid-Ohio.
Mid-Ohio Grid Life this weekend.
That's
this past
awesome.
weekend.
I never saw pictures of him. But
I'd like to
I figured
ask
there would.
everybody who does listen to this show and bought one of those T-shirts if you could wear it to Midwest. That would be great.
We'll take pictures of you and post
And
it.
actually, if we get enough, how about this? If we get enough requests for the shirt again,
We'll bring it back.
we'll bring it back.
It would be awesome to have a group photo.
Actually, we should probably, because, it's us, we could reopen it and order ones for ourselves. You know what I
we
mean?
could.
We should probably do that and then all wear them.
That seems fair.
I think a group photo would be hilarious if we had like 12, 15 people wearing that shirt.
It would be
Jabay,
hilarious.
standing there in front of us. It'd be great.
So please, if you're going to be at Midwest, wear your shirt. If you want one of the Gay for Jabay shirts, if you missed it or whatever, send us a message. We get enough people that want them, we'll reopen it for a limited time again, and maybe we'll do something different. We probably couldn't do different colors, could we? We probably
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Different material. I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, if people are interested, we'll reopen it because that was a really popular one, and it's hilarious.
It is hilarious.
So, of course, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to that. Hopefully, there's going to be more content
Got a
available on there.
bunch this week.
Yeah,
Apparently, our constant
banter and telling them
bothering of people. It's working.
We do appreciate that, and we will have some more content up there very shortly. I think that is it for all the crap that I'm supposed to say.
Yes.
Close enough.
What did we do this past week?
Oh, Robbie and I did some car shows.
We did car show things.
What'd you guys go to?
The first Carl's and Coffee.
It was very busy. Lots
Push
of
it.
I bet it was
Crazy
busy. I bet it was busy.
Because
It was a nice weekend.
It was like one of the first nice days we've had in quite some time. And it was the first event of the year. So
Yep.
it
True.
was big.
It really
they were
was
like-
the first car show of the
Yeah,
year.
it was.
Yeah, and it was like 70 degrees all the
And
time.
they were parked like all down the road.
Really?
The parking lot next door, the two across the street.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they were everywhere.
I've only ever seen a little bit of overflow across the street.
Robbie managed to get parked next to another
Yeah.
LS Swap 240.
Same vintage? Same
Yeah.
series?
So I showed up, I don't know, like 9 o'clock after, kind of like when it's in the middle of everyone being there. So I roll up and I'm like, I'm just going to go find a spot. So I pull into the parking lot where everyone is anyways. And lo and behold, somebody had just pulled out. And I
Right there front and center.
right in front of the building. So I took their spot, and this guy pulled in behind me. I was like, that's a tan 240. And he pulls in and parks. I was like, that's another V8 240. He's got a 6-liter, making me look like a pansy ass with the 5.7. But
Yours isn't bored over at all? It's just straight 5.7?
5.7.
Okay.
He's got some wheels.
He's got the Nismo wheels, and I'm
Robbie
very,
was
very
like
jealous.
losing his mind.
What are these so-called Nismo wheels?
They're really popular on the 240s. I'm not even sure what they actually originally came on.
I think they might have been a GTR wheel.
Oh, really?
It's something like that. I used to know exactly.
Is it
but
JDM, yo?
basically?
Okay.
They're legitimate Nismo wheels, and they cost like $2,500,
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
and they fit perfectly.
Do they?
Oh yeah.
So you thinking about some stuff,
looks
Robbie?
No,
good.
Oh, okay.
absolutely not.
They looked really good, though.
But it was an S14.
Yep.
Who do we have any idea who it was?
Nope.
Surely we would have
I'll
run
bump
into this
into
person.
him many times.
Did you just get this done?
Yeah,
too?
he said he bought it the swap off somebody. Somebody else had started the swap and then couldn't finish it or didn't finish it well, and he bought it off them and finished it, and he did a damn good job. It's clean.
There were a bunch of 350Zs there.
Out of
Those
nowhere.
have
all of a
become
sudden?
really popular locally all of a sudden.
The weird thing was the guy that had the 1JZ swap.
Yeah, somebody had a 1J a turboed 1JZ swap.
That's pretty neat.
He said it was
But a
easy.
weird-
He said it was an
really?
easy swap. I don't
It
understand.
fits in there
That's what I thought. I was like,
Isn't
an
it longer?
inline 6 in a V6 car, that's got to be kind
with
of
a turbo.
And it kind of lined up where the shifter should be. I mean, it was a little off, but
We didn't look real close. I don't know if he, has a firewall anymore or anything
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
It works, but you have to cut part of the car out.
We can't
maybe,
confirm
Maybe,
that.
maybe.
it was weird. I talked to him for a little bit, and I was like, man, I've seen LSs, but I've never seen this. He goes, yeah, this is easier than an LS.
But I was thinking
Maybe.
about
I
it
think
today.
you'd
I
be
was like,
surprised.
because I'm not my Toyota knowledge is not vast, but I don't think that there was ever a factory 1JZ with a turbo.
Oh, you better not say that.
I don't think
Somebody's
there-
going to come at you
Yeah,
with that
I
one.
think,
Well, actually,
You, sir, are incorrect.
yeah, I know that's fine, whatever. But I think they were just the 2Js that came that way.
and even the 2Js weren't always.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
correct.
But so I don't know if the 2J turbo setup will bolt onto a 1J or I don't know any of these things, but like I feel like that's not a very good swap because when I think of good reasons to do swaps is to improve, and I'm not like
Or it's easy.
People seem to say that that's an easy swap. I don't see it because every time I see a 240 that's had it swapped or anything like that, there's no firewall. They definitely shoehorned it in much more than I ever did with the LS.
But I mean, so the VQ35 that's in there, some of especially the earlier motors had a lot of oiling problems and some reliability issues. But I'm not sure that's much better of a motor. I mean, I know that the 1J is probably a lot more reliable and stuff like that, but the cost versus, like, I feel like he could have made as much power by just putting some money into the VQ.
Yeah, I don't know. I should have sat down and just talked to him and be like, so why this engine? You know, give me reasons. Because
of all the things you can do, why'd you do that one?
Yeah, like a turbo VQ. What would be wrong with that?
Yeah,
or like a Pro Charger.
Or a supercharger. They make bolt-on kits.
That'd be
because right
easy.
across the alleyway from him was a yellow 350Z with a Pro Charger on it.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at it going, this
That would be
seems like a better option.
That would be sick, too.
It's a cool car. I've
like,
seen it around.
Don had a ton of problems with that motor, and I think especially the early ones were real problematic. So maybe
he
bought it with a blown motor, bought it real cheap with a blown motor, and
got a deal on a 1J and said, let's make it work.
And then at that point, it probably made sense.
There's somebody locally that's selling a bunch of JDM engines. Have you, when you've been doing your Craigslist searches, have you noticed that?
No.
They got like
really?
LS400 engines and 1Js and 2Js and RB25s and stuff, and you're like, where's this shit coming from? It might be like one of those things where they're really out of Kansas City, but they post
everywhere.
But yeah, like I'll punch in RX-7 or something like that, and then I'll get 30 listings of JDM motors. You know what I mean? Because they've got that tag in there, and it's kind of annoying. But so somebody's trying to sell those motors to this market, so maybe picked up maybe somebody's got a cheap 1J, and okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, especially if it was a blown motor.
Yeah.
Then I suppose that could have made sense. Rather than rebuild a VQ, it probably would have been cheaper to put a 1J.
Put a 1J. Yeah, exactly. And if you've got a guide like on a forum or something, or somebody's got the information on how to do the swap.
I don't know if that's a comment. I mean, Don had one for years and talked about doing all sorts of things, but if it was ever swaps, they were just LSs. So
people are very against that. You know what I mean? They'll do anything to not do that.
Yeah,
and that might be that scenario. I'll do a 1J because, God help me, I'm not doing an LS swap.
That's all the 240 was at the other car show. I heard one guy walk past it and go, "Man, that's got to piss off some fanboys." I just want to be like,
racers,
whatever. And then the other guy like later walked by and he's like, "Man, I'm in love with this car." So I mean,
old guys.
No, they're all about our age.
Oh, okay.
But it's just kind of funny, the far end of the spectrum. Like one guy's like, blasphemy, LS and a Nissan, blasphemy, and the other guy was like, man, I love what he did here.
Every time I think of Carl's, I just think of guys that are like our dad's age. You know what I mean? I just think that's like the vast majority of people walking.
There were a bunch of older guys that had a bit of a confused look on their faces. They'd like stroll by. They'd double take.
What the?
Robbie was snapping necks.
Yeah, they
whole time.
They were confused because they had two Nissans next to each other with LSs.
They were probably confused by that. If it had just been one,
they're like, wait a second,
this is weird.
Did these come this way?
Two, they're like, wait a second. Do you own both of these? How the hell is this?
Why is there two of them? I've never seen this before.
Is this some sort of Chevy I'm not even aware of?
Yeah.
Well, they got to like it though, don't they? I mean, they probably think that that's cooler than the four banger that you pulled out of it.
Yeah. So the funny thing was, this is actually like the day before when I was getting it all washed up after I got off work. I take it up to the car wash and I'm waiting in line. And this kid comes like piling out of this minivan. I mean, by kid, I mean like in his 20s. So he's piling out of his minivan. He's like, "Can I take a picture of your car?" I'm like, "Sure." And I know where this is going, so I pop the hood and here you go. He's taking a picture, ask me all these questions about it. He's like literally jumping in the car, sitting in it, taking pictures. I'm like,
okay, dude.
All right, whatever. But then as he's doing that, this the guy that clearly owns the car wash has his nice fancy pickup parked behind me. And he goes and looks at it. He's walking around. He's like, "Did you do this?" I was like, yeah, I did the body. And then this last winter, I swapped the engine. "Oh, what's that?" "Oh, it's out of a 2002 Camaro." "Oh my gosh. And, he's talking about it for quite a while. And then all of a sudden, the guy in front of me leaves and there's a bunch of mud in the wash bay. And the owner walks in and he sprays it all down. And he goes, signals me to come in. And he goes, "All right, there's some time left on it. Wash it and make sure you hit stop before you leave." He bought me a car wash because he thought my car was cool. I've never had that before.
But it's going to happen now.
I guess.
Like when I drive the Camaro around, like nobody gives a shit about that Camaro. I take it to a car show, nobody gives a flying fuck. Nobody looks at it. You drive it around and like guys, especially in like their 30s or 40s, that somebody had one in college or had it in high school, they're like, "Oh, dude, this is so cool." And they want to ask you questions. They want you to stop. They want you to burnouts. And it's just like, it's a different, those American muscle car guys are different. And there's a lot more of them.
I even get that with the Omni, but kind of the opposite way. They'll be like, "Oh my God, I didn't even know these still existed. You know, I had one of these when I was in high school. My girlfriend had one of these when I was in high school. Blah blah blah. You know, and I can't believe there's even one still alive. I'm like, what have you done to this thing? What's going on here?
Yeah, American car enthusiasts are different.
Well,
But I think you'd get a lot of crossover.
I'm
You'd be like,
surprised.
this is cool.
I'm always surprised at how much respect I get from Corvette guys. Like we went to the Corvette meet even when I had the LS in it, or not the LS, the SR20 in it last year, 2 years ago rather. And they were stopping me, asking me about, like, man, you know, this is
That
cool
autocross one?
Yeah, this is a cool looking car. I really like what you did here. I'm like,
I do remember you saying that.
I was like,
There was some weird Corvette guys.
I was
there.
like, you should hate this car.
Or Corvette guys becoming more open-minded. Is that what
They
you're
were.
telling me?
I don't
they
know.
were
They've
the
always been.
world's friendliest Corvette people I had ever encountered.
It's interesting.
there.
Yeah, I'm surprised at the people that like it, and then I'm also surprised at the people that hate it. I don't know. I just like I see a group of people like air quote tuner guys, and they're like, I hate this car. It's Ricer and blah blah blah. And then it's like some guy in a Corvette shirt walk up. He's like, man, I really like what you did. I actually like the wing, and I like the body kit, and it's smooth and straight. And I'm like,
That's probably because
no, you're supposed to hate this.
that's probably because those guys are the guys that are actually building shit, and they go, that took a lot of effort.
They're probably body guys or something.
Yeah, they're
that's
like,
probably
that's
true, too.
pretty amazing. They could actually see the stuff that other people
you
don't
spent
see.
time and it all matches and it's all one color.
Most of the people that would call that tuner or ricer probably have never actually done any real body work.
That's probably true.
And they probably just think you slapped that kit on and not looked at what it took to actually mold the kit in. You know what I
don't
mean?
even realize that it's a kit.
That too. Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. I've always get the weird
Get a
reactions.
mix. Yeah. Get a weird mix.
But then we went to a show in Ames on Sunday that was put on by, I guess, colleges have these club things, you know, like LARPing club and Run club, and
What's LARPing?
we've talked about LARPing.
live
before.
action role playing.
Oh, that's right.
We've
Yeah,
talked
now I
about this
remember.
before.
Now I remember.
They wear
Yep.
suits of armor and foam swords.
I think I blocked that out, but
and,
yeah, okay.
You know, you get your arm hit, you got to switch to your other
We don't need
arm.
we don't need to get into LARPing. It's fine.
No, LARPing is cool.
I don't think we said that.
No, I like LARPing. I'm all about
Would
it.
you
never
do
done it.
I've never
with
done
LARPing?
it, but it's sweet. I
If you
would.
had the opportunity where somebody's like, "Hey, bro, you want to go LARPing?" What would be your response?
Is anybody who I know going to see me?
Yes.
Then no.
Well, the problem
It's
is
not cool that you
the
liar.
problem is they do LARPing in like public parks and stuff.
Yeah, they
you know,
do.
Yeah,
in,
like Central
in the
Campus.
daylight.
Yeah.
They do it over at Central Campus.
Oh yeah.
Really?
It's kind of funny because you'll see a guy walking through campus with this like 6 foot long air quote sword,
Yeah.
but it, from a distance it looks super fucked up. But
It's
going
made
to
out
go-
of foam.
Yeah, it's made out of foam. He's fine, but it's just from a distance you're like, that guy's got a weapon. Oh wait, no, he doesn't. It's fine.
Could be taken poorly in some campuses for sure.
Whoa, yeah,
Especially a
definitely.
campus that
That's not a good
somebody
look.
just could have got shot not too long ago.
Yeah, that's not a
Yeah.
good look for sure.
Yeah.
So let's skip
anyway,
over the LARPing thing.
There's one called ISU Automotive Enthusiasts. That was their
Club name.
Sanctioned club of Iowa State.
yeah.
Okay.
So this was the first event they'd done. They kind of just got this rolling this winter. This is the first event they've done, and I think I saw 270 cars was the final number, which was impressive.
That's a good
Big
number.
show.
And what I thought was most impressive about that is I would guess roughly 50% of the people who were there were of the older generation.
I saw a lot of hot rods when I saw the
There
pictures.
were a lot of rat rods, hot rods. There was an oddly huge number of older guys in their 5th gen Camaros, which, whatever.
Is that a club we've not run into yet?
I don't know, but Robbie and I were parked, there was 6 of them and then me and Robbie.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
they were walking by, and I heard one of them go, "Hey, I think that's the one that whooped my ass at Good Guys 2 years ago." Like, yeah, that was me.
definitely the right
Probably
on me.
because you were driving fucking sideways.
Yeah, because I wasn't pussyfooting it around. But
Yeah,
hey,
exactly.
whatever. But I think that it was really impressive because the older crowd car culture and the younger crowd car culture are two things that almost never collide.
Not in Iowa, anyway.
Especially not in Iowa. And they were there, and I made that comment on one of the Facebook groups, those kids that put that on, and one of them replied to me and said that they had heard from some of the older folks that were there that they couldn't believe how many younger folks had turned up. Like
So
they
there's
thought that we don't exist.
Car culture was dead after you get below 40 and it's dead.
Yeah, and it's just
Yeah,
gone.
nobody cares.
When in reality, there's just as many, if not more, of us.
Is it just because now they've finally accepted Facebook as a thing and so they can see the events? And
See, I don't know how they found it. I'm not sure how, if those guys reached out to some sort of alumni foundation and found all these people, or
Just
how that car show was able to get to that crowd. I'm not sure how they managed that.
when you went to that, they do that one in Ames on like Thursdays. Was there any young people at that one?
It is specifically sold as a classic car cruise.
Okay. So that's not in that case.
And if there's anybody there, it's like 12-year-olds that were drugged there by their dad.
Yep. And maybe that's the case. Maybe it's just been a situation where those two groups of people have been segmented. You know what I mean? Because older people tend to look for classic car shows, not necessarily just car shows.
Yeah, but like my parents go to there's a what they call Wednesday night cruise-ins, and it's at like different restaurants in different towns all over Northwest Iowa every single week.
Yeah.
And most of the time, it's the same core group of people. They just drove to Lamar's this week and Sheldon next week, but there's never. It's almost always older people.
Yeah.
Even in those, and those aren't sold as classic cruise-ins; they're just sold as cruise-ins.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know why there's been that division for so long.
Yeah,
but maybe some of those guys now will follow some of those other pages. You know what I mean? And they'll start to see some of that, or maybe just the organizers of that car show now know what pages the older guys follow, and so they can market to them more. So maybe you'll see more of a mix moving forward.
I don't know. I think it'd be great if they're able to keep that going. I think it's awesome. So I made sure to give them kudos on that because I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
So for the most part, the college kids were able to behave themselves for the most part.
A handful of two-stepping, and the crotch rocket guys were...
The crotch rocket guys were oddly out of control.
They're usually out of control.
I guess I've never really been around a group of crotch rocket guys.
They do in full on the rev limiter.
Yeah,
they do like to do that.
They weren't doing like wheelies or anything, but they were definitely making noise.
Yeah, that's a thing that they do.
Just like drop it into neutral and cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
the whole time because we're right in front of Iowa State's football stadium.
Yep,
Jack Trice Stadium.
You know, like right in front of the brand new south end zone.
Which
expansion.
Football is that? The actual football that you play with feet, or is that the liar one? Oh, okay.
Gosh, no.
Yeah,
American football.
The one that's incorrectly named. That one.
You kick it once in a while.
Once in a while. Once in a great while. Yes, you do.
There's feet and balls. Football.
Sure, Robbie.
I don't know.
Nobody agrees with me, though. See, that's the thing. I'm making a joke, and everybody's saying
I'm with you.
You're an asshole.
I don't get it either, but
get educated on sports, guys.
It's football, not football.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that cleared it up.
Enunciation.
I think. It's all about the enunciation that makes the difference.
Yeah. But you know, I'm guessing it probably took those kids quite a bit to get the athletics department to even say
yes, to
even consider it, let alone say yes.
Yeah.
And then, you know, there's people out there being jackasses, and the whole time that's happening, all I can think of is this is why we can't have anything nice.
It's true.
Yeah, luckily that was like the extent of it. No one really did anything past just revving up their engine. There was, a guy with a drag Mustang was revving it up quite a bit. But yeah,
were you there when they loaded them up on the trailers?
I was there when he unloaded it.
You weren't there when they loaded them up?
I think I left before that.
Yeah, he got on it hard there, like rolling burnouts.
He should know much better in a Mustang at a car show.
Everybody was like, make sure to keep four cars.
Get the fuck out of the way.
Everybody's like, make sure to keep multiple cars between you and the Mustang.
Everybody down. Head for the ditch.
So,
yeah. I mean, for two first car shows of the year, it's always like a burnout fest. Everyone thinks they have to show off as they leave.
Yeah.
Myself included. So I mean, but for being that type of event, there wasn't any incidents, nothing. I don't know anybody that got pulled over even for a ticket. So
yeah,
and
that's good.
To the yellow 300ZX twin turbo that was keeping up with me on the road. That was fun.
Up to 45 miles an hour, I think,
45
on University.
45,
right
and then we stopped.
Yep, you guys
stopped
both
right
stopped
at 45. Yep.
Impressive. It takes skill.
Oh yeah.
So if those two events are anything to gauge this year's season.
Well, I hope this year is good. Gonna have another meet and greet at some point with Midwest exclusive, so that'll be good.
They're doing all kinds of things.
They're doing all kinds of things. Yep.
Doing this Ridgemont meet?
Yep, they're doing a Ridgemont week. I think they're going to keep trying to do it weekly.
Every Thursday, it sounds
Didn't
like.
they have like 90 people at the last
Quite a
one or
bit.
something? I don't
There's
even
quite a
know
bit.
how you'd get 90 cars over where the Ridgemont is.
I don't know where it is.
right over here, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's
down
not,
the street.
Yep, it's not too far away.
Yeah, I remember you saying it was in your neck of the woods.
But it's it's just like a normal parking lot. You know what I mean? Like a
think it's
business
awesome,
parking
though.
lot.
I'm
Yeah, no, it's good.
super excited about it.
It's good. It is very good. As long as people can behave and we don't get kicked out of Saylorville. Because I would like to go back to Saylorville at some point, but I think they're still a little upset about the last time we were there. Not us, but
The
car
scene.
community. Yeah, when they were doing.
We as a people.
I think they
That
were
was
drag
neat.
racing after everybody left. I think that was the nail in the coffin on
Well,
the parking lot.
I think
Yeah.
some people went there just, on like a Friday evening to hang out there, and we're doing burnouts and donuts in the parking lot.
Yeah, and it's a Army Corps of Engineers controlled space, I think,
Yeah.
and they were like, "No, thank you, you're not allowed back."
Apparently, the DNR feels that autocross is counterintuitive to their goal,
Okay,
and so we can't autocross there anymore either.
I can't say I can't say that they're wrong. I'll put it that way.
But I still disagree.
I think that that's fair, but I can't say that. I can't say that autocrossing necessarily promotes the same thing that the DNR is trying to promote. I guess
I
is the point
see
I'm
where
trying to.
I see what they're getting at,
Yep, but you want to autocross there
but
anyway
I want to autocross there
because it's really cool because it's like this parking lot that sits.
on the lake.
Two sides of it have lake on it.
And if I'm not mistaken, there's an elevated lot and a lower lot, and they used to race up the hill into the elevated lot.
What?
Sometimes.
Sweet.
You would race up the drive.
You got to be kidding me.
into the elevated lot, and then like the start would be
That was your finish or whatever.
like start would be in one and finish would be in the other, or some crazy thing.
It's like a little mini hill climb.
Would have been the sweetest thing ever.
Yep.
I'm all about it.
Did you see your hill climb course is currently closed
I
over
did
at Ledges
see that my hill
because it
climb
fell
course-
off the
It did, like a large section of it just fell
a
away.
car-sized section of it fell off, Robbie.
At
not good.
Ledges State Park
Yeah.
in Boone.
Yeah,
It's
no,
a-
that's actually in Boone.
People that don't know, it is like this. It's a park that you travel down basically into these ravine, I guess.
Yeah,
You'd
it's
call
just
it.
this giant canyon.
Drive down into a ravine. It's really twisty. Adam always talking about doing a hill climb. We should do a hill climb up that.
We should
you
do a
know?
hill climb up for sure.
Road fell off.
There's like probably somewhere in the region of 150 bad ideas from start to finish. The two big ones being the stream crossings.
Yeah.
We were gonna do something about that. I think we were trying to figure out a plan for that.
But then there's like the sheer drops and the trees.
There's like if you get it wrong, like too much power or whatever, and you oversteer and overcorrect, you could veer straight into a tree.
But even if you understeer and go off the other side, you're still going into trees.
Yeah,
I mean, there's huge trees.
Isn't that the point of
It
hill
was-
climbing?
Yeah, I know, but
it was
I
a
suppose-
it was a discussion we were gonna have with the insurance company eventually. We were gonna get to that, but theoretically, it sounded like a great idea.
I know that I live in the wrong part of the world for hill climbs, but I just desperately want one.
That was kind of the right place to do it until the road fell off. But they're gonna fix it.
Yeah, I'll be fine. We can christen the new road with the hill climbing.
Perfect. There we
I
go.
like where your head's at, Robbie.
Put that together, Robbie.
Really, from like the first stream crossing up is really the only part that I'd want to race anyway.
Yeah.
That bottom section's not that interesting. So like I
that's where
feel
you
you
park
could
the cars.
start just past. You could use the stream crossing as a burnout box
Yeah, you could drive
because
through
it's
the
very
stream.
shallow.
Drive through the stream. Do your
Do
burnout.
burnout.
And then I don't know what that helps, but we'll,
It
it's
heats
still,
up tires. It's more traction
yeah, we'll go with that.
for sure.
Well, yep.
Jeez.
No, I'm with you.
You guys got any like personal project updates or anything cool that you've done?
No, I can't really think of anything that I've done recently.
I don't think that's true.
Oh yeah, I drove my car.
Yeah, you did.
I drove my RX-7. I spent I literally decided that weekend. I'm like, I'm driving this car, or I'm burning this shop to the ground because nothing good has come out of here in the last week. So I wasn't going to say anything about this, but basically our shop got broken into, and our truck got stolen, and basically all of our tools got stolen. So in the process of all that, that was a complete clusterfuck. But we had one full set of 3/8 sockets and some wrenches and a welder, and it's just like, fuck it, we're going to use this, we're going to get this car done, we're going to drive it, or I'm pushing this thing into the fucking pond and we're done with it. So but I drove it on Sunday at 3 o'clock, and
How'd it
it's
drive?
pretty fucking sweet. It's awesome.
Were you able to get it to speed or anything like that?
I had it in fourth gear, but that was about as far as I wanted to go because
Yeah.
I need to do some adjustment on the seat The seat's not quite right because I built the seat bracket and
Do you have
something
those
about not lining
Corbos
up.
in it?
Yep, just the one Corbo on the driver's side.
Sweet.
But yeah, just kind of drove it up and down the road, and I had to build. So I put the exhaust on it. I bought another set of headers, and the Y pipe that I bought didn't fit. I thought this was going to solve the problem. It didn't. So I'm looking at this, and I'm like, you know what? This Y pipe's not going to do me any good, and I can't really. I could sell these headers, but it's going to take me like a month to sell them, and I'm going to have to ship them. And I was like, fuck it. We're just going to cut this Y pipe up, and I'm going to reconfigure it so that it's the shape that I need it to be. So that because basically what it does is it takes the driver's side exhaust and routes it over to the passenger side, where it hits the passenger side collector with a Y pipe, and then it goes back to whatever you want to do for exhaust. And the collector hit the frame because it's meant for a Camaro, and a Camaro's wider, and so the collector hit the frame, and I couldn't connect it to the passenger side header.
That's when you bust out the sledgehammer and just...
No, I mean it ran straight into the frame. There was no
turning that one.
Yeah, so it needed to be completely moved. So what I did is I cut up 2/3 of it, cut all the joints out of it. I flipped the collector over so that basically what happens is the driver's side header and the pipe that comes out of it comes into if you're looking at the front of the car, comes into the left side of the collector. And then the passenger side header comes into the right side of the collector, which would make more sense than the way it was configured before, but I'm sure it had to do with clearing something on the Camaro, so whatever. So I did that and kind of tacked it up with the MIG welder because it wasn't stainless, and I was like, I'm going to take this into the shop and have my welder finish it. And that didn't happen. I was like, we're getting this shit done. So I just started welding it with the MIG welder, and my dad's looking at it, he's like, why don't you tack, just go around tacking it. Just tack. And I was like, nah, fuck that. If we're gonna weld, we're gonna fucking weld. And if I blow a hole in it, then my welder can fix it at work. So I did continuous welds. I actually did continuous welds around it. They weren't the greatest looking welds in the entire world, but I was like, I told him, I said, I don't want to take this to an exhaust shop. My goal is to figure out how to build an exhaust. Like I don't want to take it into an exhaust shop and pay them to do it. It's like, we're gonna have to do this on my Camaro, we're going to have to do this for some other car. If we build, if we want to do something different with the Fiat, we're going to have to build that exhaust. I'm like, we're fucking going to learn how to build exhaust.
It's not like that would really fit the rest of that build anyway.
That's a good point. Like
That's
that
true.
was the other thing. I was like, this is the car to
It's been
it's the Craigslist build.
yeah, just a bunch of random Craigslist parts that you figure out a way to make work.
Yeah, and so in that same vein, I was like, I don't want a professional to do this. I want to do it. Because like if I put a bad weld on this car, first of all, it's exhaust, so it doesn't really matter as long as it's sealed. And, and it's not going to fall off because it's not structural or anything like that. And I'm like, if you got a weld that looks a little funny.
Plus, you wrapped it in
Big deal.
titanium header wrap. So
Yep, I ended up wrapping it. Because it does come, like I said, it comes around the oil pan, and it goes by the starter. So I kind of wanted to...
take heat away from that if you can.
Yeah, we're having an issue with the starter not wanting to work when it's hot, which doesn't surprise me because I think I'm pretty sure... thinking back 2 years now, but I'm pretty sure we didn't change that starter from the one that was on the Caprice, so it doesn't surprise me that it's not
You have no idea
not
the
really.
condition of it.
No, it's probably pretty old.
That was a risk I took on the S10, and I'm
Not changing that starter. Yours is, we talked about this, yours is,
I think I'd have to pull
hidden.
the motor to get the starter out because of the way the turbo piping or exhaust piping for the turbo is ran. I think you'd have to pull the motor out to get the starter. Now, so
yeah, that's
Fine.
not ideal.
I would hope that's not the situation for you.
This artfully crafted Y pipe that I made, it's not at all in the way of the starter.
You say that like I think you're being sarcastic.
Yeah, no, I am a little bit.
Okay,
But it was a cool experience though, because we found some exhaust that was on the Caprice. That was the other kind of like icing on the cake. Was like we ran out of piping to make it work with what we had, and so we're like, what do we have in the shop that we could finish this with? Or I have to go to O'Reilly's and try to buy some exhaust piping, which they sell. But we found the exhaust off the Caprice. So we cut that up into sections, and then I think we stole like an elbow and a straight section out of the Caprice exhaust. So there's another piece of the Caprice on there. So it goes from like decent looking steel from the Y pipe from that JBA header setup to a rusty piece of Caprice exhaust back to the parts from the Y pipe. It was perfect. And then you saw the picture of it. I painted the welds.
Yeah.
Which I could have painted the whole thing. I was like, I don't really care. But I painted the welds so it wouldn't get any, because raw welds will rust pretty, quickly. It's just
like
raw.
overnight. It's
Right.
out of control.
So I sprayed with header paint to try to contain some of that. Then I wrapped it. And so I got that picture of the Y pipe in the oven. And I think some people that don't know me very well were like, what the fuck are you doing putting a Y pipe in your oven? But there's an oven in the shop, so it's cool.
Is that not a normal shop thing, I guess?
I think my friends that aren't like car people, yeah, they're like,
think it's weird that you have a shop oven?
What are you doing? Is that the oven in your kitchen and the door's open and you have a piece of exhaust in it?
That's fine.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said.
So,
and then
maybe they should just mind their own business.
That is one option as well. So then I put there's a collector that comes off of the Y pipe that would go to an exhaust that I will eventually finish. Probably when a sanctioning body says, "Sir, your car is too loud. Please leave."
So you don't have a muffler?
No, fuck that.
It's just a Y pipe and then just
it's a Y pipe and it had a collector and then it would blow into basically it would shoot the hot exhaust air at the transmission. So that's when I stole the elbow and I welded that on the end of the collector. So it turns down at least and kind of out, but it's not.
Is it behind you as you're seated in the car?
Yeah.
Then it's SCCA legal.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Sweet. Nobody can say shit about it then.
That's awesome.
Might get in trouble at a racetrack, but at least I can.
Yeah, some tracks have like 90 dB decibel or 90 dB limits at like a certain distance or whatever.
I'm sure it's louder than that.
So.
But, so yeah, put the seat in haphazardly and then just drove it up and down the road. It was pretty sweet. Don't seem to have any issues with the transmission. Thank God. That was the
You're one step ahead of me.
That was the big question. The $700 T56 seems to be okay so far.
Nice.
Even if it's not, I'll just break it and we'll figure it out in the wintertime. But so we got a few things we got to sort out. We got the truck back from being stolen. It needs some work. But that's neither here nor there. So you may get some truck updates because we're going to be doing truck things.
It could have ended a lot worse than it did. So.
I'm glad we got the truck back.
I didn't realize you guys have owned that since day one.
16 years.
That you guys are one owner of that truck.
130,000 miles, 16 years, 1500 HD.
That's not something that a lot of people do anymore.
No, and I think that's why he was upset that he lost his truck, because it's like, you own something for 16 years, take care of it, and then somebody fucking steals it and drops it off on the east side of Des Moines in pieces.
Yeah, it's upsetting.
It's annoying, to say the least.
The fucking windshield wipers.
They took the windshield wipers and the fucking cat.
Cat?
Yeah, a catalytic converter.
Oh, catalytic converter.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys had a cat in there or something? I was super confused.
I'd be super pissed if somebody stole an animal that I had.
Yeah,
what is wrong with you?
Well, I thought maybe you had like a stuffed animal, like your mascot or something.
No, like Steph from Jalopnik.
Yeah,
she's got a stuffed.
My dad's got a little.
Bear.
My dad's got this little like dinosaur thing that came in a kid's meal that my sister had like a million years ago, and it sits on like on his volume knob in every work truck he's had for the last.
Really?
18 years or something stupid.
Huh.
Yeah.
No mascots.
So I thought maybe you guys had like some sort of stuffed
toe straps, I think.
Thing.
They stole some toe straps and basically all of our tools. But it's all going to work out in the end. I'm still not happy about it, but we're not getting screwed. Let's put it that way.
That's good.
Because there's always a question of whether or not the insurance company is going to screw you.
Oh, crap. I forgot your stickers.
Oh, it's okay.
They were in the Omni.
The security.
The Omni didn't come.
That's all right.
Because of the rain.
Stickers. Yeah, it's all right.
And that's going to be the next part of our show.
Oh, excuses?
Excuses.
Yeah. You're good at that.
Rude.
Whoa.
Rude. Coming in hard. What do you got for excuses?
So we're going to do, we've talked about this a little bit before, but racing season is beginning, has begun for some of us even. This weekend I have a test and tune. Pretty excited about that. So we figured race driver excuses. So I think each of us have a few of them. Just kind of go around, make fun of each other, decide whether they're valid or not.
What do you got, Robbie?
See,
you got a list over there.
I got a small list that I put together of basically the stuff that annoys me.
Okay.
I didn't go
with your car or like
no.
in general about
stuff,
life?
Stuff that I hear, like I overhear. Like these are the excuses that I tend to just completely
ignore.
They're not allowed, in my opinion.
Okay.
Like, these are unacceptable.
So these are not valid excuses in the mind of Robbie.
Does it say misfire anywhere on that list?
No.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't sure where to even go when like excuses. I'm like, well, yeah, well, like,
it was very open ended.
Yeah, it's
on
like
purpose.
if I'm at an autocross event, I'm like, Yeah, I had a good run, except I hit like 3 cones, so I didn't have
You
a
had
good
a
run.
shitty run, sir.
So-
You hit 3 cones.
Yeah,
We're
that's
trying
the
not to
definition
do
of
that.
bad. I think that's a DNF, actually.
Yeah, so I had a good time, but it doesn't
bias.
count because I did shitty.
Yep.
I made a mistake 'cause I'm stupid. That's an acceptable excuse.
Yeah, that's
I'm an
perfectly
idiot. That
valid.
was a bad run.
This
Let's-
car would be great if it had a decent driver. Yeah, I get that.
I'm with
driver
you.
mod.
Yeah.
The most important
So that
of all the
okay.
mods.
So somebody admitting to a driver mod is an acceptable excuse in your mind,
Yes.
meaning that you will give if you admit to being an idiot and you're not a good driver, your slow time is
Yeah,
passable.
if you walk out of your car and go,
Man, I suck.
I suck today.
Okay,
Nothing
dude,
else
cool.
went wrong.
Good-
I can't drive for shit.
Good work out of you.
All
man.
right, man. Yeah,
At least you got something to work on.
All
Yep.
right.
Okay, so what else is on your list there, Robbie?
Ones that I really I can't stand are the ones that are like, it's a Miata course, or it's
God.
it's set up for every other car except mine.
I was going to actually say, I'm in a Miata was an excuse.
How's that an excuse?
Because, like,
On a power course,
oh, this was a power course and I'm in a Miata. But at the same time, that can be their reason for doing so well, too. It
Yeah.
can be an excuse for doing bad or a reason for doing good for the same person on different days.
Yeah.
Which makes it doubly bad.
Did you say doubly?
Doubly.
So that's not an acceptable excuse.
I don't think so. Like, it always bothers me when someone complains, like, "Oh, the course is too tight," or "The course is too loose," or "Too straight," or
I've never had that problem because the Fiat is consistently mediocre when it comes out across. So I'm just like, I didn't notice anything different, Power course, Miata course, it's
yeah. See,
whatever.
to me with the 240, I was like, I like the power courses because I'm not good at technical courses or tight turns with it, because I just sit there and drift it, and I'm not a very good driver yet.
I enjoy technical courses more, but I think I tend to do better in the standings on a more open course.
Really?
Or at least I did with the slicks because I was willing to
Yes, I suppose you.
kind of throw it into corners a lot more than...
Is this an excuse starting? I feel
No.
like it's an excuse starting here in a
No,
second.
I just enjoy driving technical courses.
No, I meant about the tires.
Oh, it's definitely one of the excuses I have on my list.
Top of the list. Oh god,
Yeah,
I had
I
so
don't-
much more tire.
I don't
last
have
year.
this season's hot tire. My
yeah.
tires are too narrow, et cetera, et cetera.
Although if your tires are too narrow, you're not going to have a good day.
Well, right, but like
If you're
you
rocking
can.
215s on a 240.
But if you come up to me and say, I would have been faster than you if I had a wider tire, like that's not.
Nope, that's not acceptable.
Uh-uh.
I mean, if you say, I have my best time is this because that's the best I could do. That's the bet. It is what it is.
I don't have the hot tire for this season.
Nope.
Neither do I.
I feel like I get a pass for having a 13 by 5.5 wheel. I feel like I can use that one because
in my head, I said one of my excuses should be I have a 5.5 inch wheel, but I didn't think you'd take that very well, so I decided not to use it.
I'm using it because I got stuck in a race class and somebody was bitching about my car being in that class. And finally I told
that's
them,
right.
I have a 13 by 5.5 inch wheel, dude. I'm not running slicks. I'm not running a 9-inch wide wheel.
You got 200 treads on, right?
No,
Not
I got
even.
No, I've got R comps,
Oh,
but they're
okay.
205. That's the
And
widest.
how many years old are they?
No, I have new ones.
Oh, you-
For that race, I had old ones on.
Okay.
Yeah, I had old
As
ones.
long as
on.
I've known you, I don't think you've ever had new tires on that car.
Yeah, I've got 2 new sets this year.
Oh,
Right.
nice.
I
Okay.
forgot that you had said you'd bought new sets this year. But I think as long as I've known you, you've always been running someone's old takeoff R comps, which in my mind could very easily make you worse off than someone running brand new 200 treads.
Possibly, but I can't find tires that'll fit on.
Right. No,
13 by
I understand
5.5s,
that.
yeah.
But like people would always tell me when I was in the Omni with some guys burned
yeah.
out old slicks that were 4 years old and 2 runs short of cording. Oh, the reason you're faster than me is because you got those slicks. Like, really? Because you've got an RE71R that's like 3 runs old. So I'm
got
betting
no
your
excuses.
tire's still better
Oh, yeah.
off than mine.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
So
Yeah. Anyway, what else on your list there, Robbie?
In the same respect, I always get like people like, well, I'm on $200 coilovers, or yours are $1,500 coilovers. What do you expect?
I can kind of see that, but at the same time, I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, the GTR with the $2,000 coilovers is going to be fast. I get that,
Yeah.
but your Miata on cheap coilovers can't compete. Sorry.
It's true.
What else you got,
But I
Robbie?
know lots of people with Miatas on cheap coilovers that have whooped my ass.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I had a passenger.
Oh, I've never, ever, ever used that one.
Doesn't count. I've actually had some of the best runs ever
with a passenger. Yep, I agree.
Like on autocross, when you're not, I mean, we're not chasing hundredths. We're not chasing tenths, really. Like, we're not that consistent.
Yeah, I'm not that consistent
so
at all.
Adding 150 pounds isn't going to make a damn bit of difference.
Like, I can definitely feel it in my car, but I don't think it made me any slower.
No. Like, people will say, oh, you take your interior, like this, not just a passenger, but like weight in general. They're like, oh, you should be running, fiberglass or carbon fiber or whatever, and you should take your interior out. And it's like, for 30 pounds? No.
In your car that has some interior in it still, yeah.
Yeah, like it's just...
Do you have speakers in your car?
Yeah, of course.
You do? Oh, okay.
No subwoofers, but,
Yeah, speakers.
Just regular speakers.
Magnets.
Yeah.
Audio's a luxury.
No, like, air conditioning is a luxury.
Audio's fine, just no air conditioning.
Yeah. I gotta listen to music sometimes.
I get it. You gotta drive it places. I understand.
No.
What else?
I beat you in PAX, though. I knew this was going to strike a nerve on both of you.
Motherfucker. PAX is my least favorite thing in the whole wide world.
I'm good with PAX now because they fixed my number.
But it's still bullshit at the same time. Because people lean on it really hard. Like, well, I'm faster in PAX. Okay, big deal. Because I have one mod that put my car in this class.
That's a different story.
If you're comparing two cars that are fully built to the hilt, 100% to the limitation of the class rules, but in separate classes, then PAX maybe is still valid, although I'm not 100% convinced that it's still a thing. Because my argument for against PAX, that I think it's a Mercury, but it's a Fox body that shows up. It's a C-prepared Fox body. He's from Des Moines.
Is it the Capri?
I think it's
the turbo one?
Yeah, the turbo one.
Yep.
That guy's fast.
Oh, yeah.
Like, flat out just fast.
Yep.
I think he's done very well in that class nationally. I don't know that he's ever outright won, but he's done well nationally.
Yep.
Some people I know from Sioux Falls went to a Nebraska region race in Lincoln, and he was at that same event, and they, in their basically stock cars, beat him in PAX.
Yep.
No.
Adam's not having it.
I'm not a fan of PAX.
I think
either.
and I've had a ton of people argue with me about this, but I think PAX will significantly play to the lower classes in the SCCA.
Meaning the more stock classes.
The more stock
level
classes are get better PAX numbers. I mean, obviously they're supposed to.
Yep.
But I think the skew is they're tilted that way. That if you're grading on the curve, that's where you need to be.
Yeah, because I remember I was talking to I can't even think of his name right now. I've only met him like twice, but he bought some parts or borrowed some tools from me, and he was saying like, yeah, we had a race last weekend, and in order for me to have won with PAX, I would have had to have gone like 6 seconds faster. Physically impossible.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
So I guess that's my biggest hang up with PAX is like, yeah, I beat you in PAX. Yeah, because the laws of physics won't allow my car to go that fast on this course. Like, it's not even possible.
I just don't like PAX.
PAX has a lot of problems. In the past 7 years, I would have bitched about it. But now that there's Heritage Classic,
You're okay now?
I'm not in the right Heritage Classic. I got stuck in that race class, but once I get the stock, Heritage Classic stock, which doesn't make any sense for that car, but whatever, it doesn't matter. But that's a good example. That car doesn't make sense in that class as far as the modifications done to it. But it qualifies for the stock class if I put 200 tread words on it.
Right. See, that's where I'm
And
at.
I could change the wheels and run a wider wheel with a wider tire and still be in stock class.
My Omni, the last 2 years, I've ran an E-prepared, which is basically the highest class you can be in is prepared, short of like tube chassis monstrosities.
Yep.
And the only thing that puts my car in E-prepared was the fact that I was using somebody's ancient
Slicks.
takeoffs.
Yep.
And just like I said a little bit ago, chances are those tires were slower than I probably could have been on a real good set of 200 treads of the same size that were new.
Oh, the same size, most definitely. Maybe even smaller, narrower.
And that put me in this ridiculous PAX class that, I mean...
Yeah. You're preaching to the choir.
I hate
cams that were like, I don't even know, 0.2 taller,
Cams.
not 0.2, 0.02 taller than a stock Fiat cam put me in D prepared.
Yeah.
A cam that basically gave me 2 horsepower.
Maybe.
Now I'm
You
in
could
D
have ran
prepared.
that. You could have ran that car in street mod with cams. Probably would have been worse.
Is there anything that disqualifies it in street mode?
Well, if you really get to the nitty gritty of it, removing your carpet would disqualify it
Yep.
from anything short of prepared.
There we go. That's that. But it didn't have carpet
Removing
to start
the
with.
4 pounds of carpet that car had from the factory.
Yeah. And I never had the carpet.
Right.
So I'm going to go get carpet to put back in. It doesn't have speakers either. Do you have to have speakers to be in street mode?
They have to be, the openings have to be covered.
What if the openings are gone because that door panel's gone?
The openings have to be covered.
Okay, so,
That is explicitly stated in the rules for anything below street prepared.
so you can't just take it out and there's a hole.
No, you can't have a hole.
That doesn't make
They
any
have-
sense.
You have to either put a speaker grill over it if it was an exposed speaker, or
Yep.
the cover from the door panel has to be on it in street prepared or below.
Not disagreeing with you or blaming you, but that makes no sense at all. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't make the rule.
I know this is why people.
Don't shoot
This is
the
why you
messenger.
guys don't like PAX, and why I didn't like PAX up until
That's
this
why
year.
I don't like the SCCA's rules.
Okay.
They're ridiculous.
Yep.
How long is their rule book?
Way too
Like
fucking.
800 pages?
Yeah, maybe
I don't
not
know.
that
It's
long,
not
but
that
it's
long.
I think, isn't it?
It's not that
not
long.
quite that long.
Maybe the club racing one is. I've never looked at the club racing.
That's the one I was looking at because I was looking up cages the other
I've
day.
never looked at the club racing one.
That
But
one's
it's
long.
out of control.
It's long.
But I know the solo one's out of control.
we spend 50 years making a rule book. You know,
Yeah, you add to it every year.
people like Adam looking for loopholes constantly.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You've admitted on the show many
You're
times.
looking for a loophole.
It's a life
so-
goal.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like you, and there's a lot of people, you know.
I want a rule made after me. I don't think
That's
I've
the
ever
pro-
actually
that's why the-
stated
that's
this
why
on
the
the
rule
show.
book is
I want a rule made after
800
me.
pages long is because of people like you. I'm just saying. But yeah, I agree with you.
But the reason I want a rule made after me is because the rule book is
It's
so out of
ridiculous.
control.
It'd be more impressive now.
If it was more reasonable, I wouldn't even care. I'd be like, cool,
Yeah, whatever.
I'll work with these rules. But it's just so stupid.
I get it. Do you have any excuses? More excuses?
do you have any other ones?
The tire thing always gets me. I'm just annoyed by the tire thing. But I don't drive well in the rain. Neither does anybody else. Get over it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not like it's only raining for you. It's raining for everybody.
Oh,
Yeah,
exactly.
track conditions in general. Like if someone's like, "Oh, it's too damp, it's too hot, it's whatever." Yeah,
People used to say at Marshalltown all the time the track was falling off. You know that it was getting greasy.
Which it did.
It did.
It did.
But
But
it did for all of us.
Right. So it's like
It's
that's not an
it's
excuse.
equally
It didn't
bad.
just do it for you and then come back for me.
Listen, you drove shitty in the morning and you drove shitty in the afternoon. Don't blame it on the track.
I mean,
Because I would usually my first run was my fast run.
my
so-
first 1 or 2 runs were always faster because in the afternoon that track got real slick.
unless you're David with his Evo when he set that 15.9 in the afternoon.
Yeah, I don't
it
know
was
what
just
the hell was wrong with that guy. Or the other David who ran within 0.3 of a second
on the same day.
every
all the races he ever did in his Mustang.
Oh, that's right.
so
He did.
so consistent.
Ridiculously consistent.
He could probably argue the weight thing because he could probably tell a difference in his times. He was that consistent.
Yeah, he probably
He was very
I would
consistent.
allow
At
that one.
Marshalltown.
I would allow
At
that
Marshalltown.
there. Of course.
Which is
he
dead.
knew. Yeah, he knew that course.
It's a dead.
So I
Talk
think
about that.
there's probably some that we have probably don't know too well since we have not done a whole lot of wheel-to-wheel racing and track day stuff. But like, oh, this guy got in my way.
Oh, that
stuff
guy
like-
folded my mirror.
I would have won if that guy would have got out of my way. Well, I think that's
that
kind
guy.
of the point, isn't
That
it?
guy was on my line.
Yeah, that was my line first.
I was convinced that he was waving a flag. You
We
look
were
at.
still under yellow. I'm sure that's one.
Yeah, I'll guarantee
yeah.
you
He
that.
He jumped the start.
Which may be a valid thing.
Could be.
But sometimes it's probably not.
I get it.
So I'm sure there's a lot like that.
I have an
that
automatic.
I don't know real well because of track day stuff. Ooh, I have an automatic.
I have an automatic. I've heard that one a lot at autocross. It's usually people that are new to it.
See,
And they'll pull that.
guess I haven't heard that enough.
I have an automatic. I usually hear it because it seems like the new guys. I've only done that mentoring thing a couple years and not that many times, but usually the new guys have automatics. You know,
Yep.
because they're like, I don't know. Sometimes they come from drag racing, like that kid with the G8. You know, I think those guys think about quarter miles and automatics are better, and they don't really care about.
They are.
And they are, yep. And they don't care about, oh, I don't need a manual. Who cares? And then they decide they want to do something different. They're like, ugh, this is frustrating.
Yep.
Although his seemed to do okay, but it's still an excuse I hear.
In some situations, that's perfectly valid too.
I agreed. He only had to use one gear
Yeah,
with
but
his 6-liter.
but if the car will keep it in that gear,
True.
fine. But like Katie's Focus, not that it's some race bred automatic transmission, but if you put it all the way into its lowest setting and you rev it to the moon, it will shift on its own.
It will.
Yes. So
Come on, Ford.
So what's it matter? Just as well I've given me a reverse, a neutral, and a drive option because I don't know what this 1 and 2 is because you'll change it anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So in that situation, I could see that being a semi-valid excuse.
Okay. Fair enough. Any other ones you can think of? Any ones you've used and maybe shouldn't have?
I don't have the right car for the class.
Well, yeah, we kind of talked about that one. That's
I drift.
Well, I mean, just like even if my car is fully built, like my Omni. Fact of the matter
I
is,
gotcha.
there's no way that car
It's not the competitive chassis for
is
that
not
class.
the competitive chassis for that class. So, at that point, and I would even say this to myself if I was feeling this way, then maybe you should have got that chassis. I've accepted that, and I don't care.
Yep.
But
yeah, if you're that concerned about it,
yeah,
can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you have another one, Robbie? Sound like you started to say one.
Oh, my excuse is that I drift too much. I drive with the ass end of my car out.
I have heard that one before.
I have done that one before.
Okay, fair enough. Rob was doing it in his what is that? Totally from Nissan. The Cadet. What is that?
Cedric.
Thank you.
Cedric.
Which is so fucking sweet, dude.
I can't believe
it is
he
so cool.
autocrossed it.
That is the coolest sedan thing.
It's a Cedric, I think, Gran Turismo.
Yeah,
I think is the right.
We'll have to look up. Maybe find some information. I don't know. It's fucking sweet though, and it's
I remember
surprisingly
he posted
quick.
pictures of it.
Because I got to ride in it, and he was drifting it, and it was awesome.
That's an RB of some kind, I think.
I think you are correct, sir. Yes, rear wheel drive, turbo.
That's fun.
It's everything about it's awesome.
Apparently, there's like less than 10 of them that have been imported to this country.
He actually went
So
down
it's not a super common
to
car.
look at like the first one what do you remember the name of that Japanese motorsport?
He was there today, actually, because he tagged
I
himself
do.
on Facebook.
Yeah, he
I think
made
it's
a joke that
Japanese Classics
I think that is correct.
in Richmond, Virginia.
And he went down there to look at the first one they got, which was
Yep.
white.
Yep.
And then they're like, we just got this really clean black one. Would you rather have this one? And he took that one.
Yeah.
And it is
And
awesome.
they have a midnight blue one right now that is
Yes.
beyond sick.
And the price for what you're getting is very fair, I feel like, on that car.
Very reasonable.
It's very cool. It is very like
So
you could do
VIP.
you could do some sweet VIP stuff with it, or he put a sub in it and he just drives it around. It's like his, I don't know, I want to call it his daily, but you're not going to find a second one at the Cars and Coffee. I'll put it
it's
that way.
very unique.
Right hand drive, obviously.
It's cool.
I'm super into it. It is awesome. So anyway, he was drifting, so that was my tangent on that.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, I have a hard time not driving with the ass end of my car out.
It's too much fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's worth it.
Or one excuse was that I wasn't paying attention. I scratched my car,
And then you
And then the
had
next-
a mental breakdown.
and then I was driving angrily.
Yeah.
And I wasn't thinking. I was just driving.
Just very
Not a
angry.
lot of great times to be had when you're driving that way. Just foot to the floor, slamming on the brakes.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm really bad at blanking when I'm racing, like not thinking about what I'm doing.
I'm still really bad about not looking ahead. Like I'll watch what's in front of me, not where I need to be going.
I know
Sure.
when we go karting, if I'm real serious about trying to beat you, mostly, Robbie, because that seems to be what I'm usually trying to do.
I get that.
Like if I'll, the only way I can stay focused and really like knock out some good lap times is if I'll be driving and I'll say to myself, left turn, right turn, like that sort of shit. Like I'll literally say it out loud to myself.
See, that's when I come and
Turn
bump you.
now, brake now, stuff like that.
See, that's when I'll come and like bump you and try to get you off your
Yeah,
game.
yeah, and it doesn't take much, as my parents have done to me a million times growing up. If I'll be counting anything out loud, someone starts yelling fucking numbers, I'm done.
Throwing a random 8 in there.
It's over. I have to start over. It's it. It does not take much to break my concentration, which is the bane of my existence, frankly. But
I understand.
I don't think that comes as a surprise to anybody who listens to this.
No,
So
Any other ones you can think of?
I'm kind of out of excuses.
Are you? You got any
Right.
ones certain and specific to you in your new car or anything like that?
It's unfamiliar to me.
There we go. I was
That's-
like, you got some that are lined up. I know you do. I
that's-
was just like, yeah, I've got to. When this isn't as fast as I think it's going to be.
I'm
Oh, it's new. It's new. It's all new to me. I haven't done this before. The torque at the bottom, it's just wasn't ready for it.
I would say I'm still learning the car. I mean, that you can say that's an excuse. It's true. I have no idea how it's going to handle. So
these are valid and invalid, I would say.
yeah, I was going to say if I'm using this in August, I still don't know how to drive this car. Get your ass in some seat time.
Maybe you just don't know how to drive.
Yeah, exactly.
It's probably true. Adam, did you have any specific other than tires, maybe?
Specific to my car, other than, not the competitive chassis. I don't really have anything specific to mine. My carburetors weren't functioning correctly today.
Ooh.
It was a little cold for my
Too
carburetors.
much humidity, a little cold, stuff like that.
Yep. It's not 70 and sunny, so the carbs, they're a little off.
They're a little off their
A
game.
little questionable.
Forgot my jets. Couldn't change them out.
Got my jet kit and my
Couldn't
tools.
change them out.
Yep.
Hashtag carburetor problems.
Yeah, definitely. I was having carburetor problems last year, having the mixture be all wrong and Fallon plugs. Misfire is a common one for me.
My car's been oddly nice to me about that stuff.
Don't say that.
Yes.
Knock on something.
Yeah.
Well, it hasn't started the last 2 days when I've tried to drive it to work. So,
I mean, if that's it being nice to you, then
well, I mean, I feel like I don't need to knock on wood because it's being a dick right now. But I've never had to deal with like what you guys were thrashing last year with the trying to get it because it was running so rich and
Yeah, it was Fallon plugs.
Fallon plugs, and for whatever reason that car hasn't done that to me. So
Don't start changing shit. That would be my don't change jets. If it's working, just walk away. Like,
I'm afraid to put an AFR gauge on there and find
nope.
out that it's way fucking lean
Nope,
or way
nope.
rich.
If
and
it
I gotta
hasn't blown
change
up,
things.
if it hasn't blown up and it's not Fallon plugs, I think you're in the range, and I would I would just work with that. No,
I need to get one of those carburetors. The needle valve for the accelerator pump is not there.
so it'll start.
It's not there. So I need that.
Okay,
But
don't
other than
change
that.
it.
I don't want to change anything.
That you're taking a risk putting that needle valve in. I'll tell you that right
I know,
now.
I understand that, but I think it would make the drivability significantly better.
Yeah, you're probably correct on that. My normal ones are I always blame the wheels, and then the Fallon plugs and misfire. Those are common for me, but sometimes I blow a spark plug wire off. But now they're zip tied to the distributor, so hopefully that doesn't happen anymore. Hasn't happened in the last year, but I used to do that all the time.
I remember you coming to do you have like electrical tape or zip ties or anything? I blew a.
There's no retainer clip in the spark plug wire, and it just falls off the distributor.
It's just so weird to me because it's like it's not like there's pressure in there and
Yeah,
it
it
blew
doesn't
off. It's not like a
I'll
vacuum
be
hose or
halfway
something like
through a
that.
run, and all of a sudden you're. Oh, it's 3 cylinders. So
It's just such a weird.
it is a weird problem to have. It's no problem that anybody plans for that your spark plug wires are going to fall off.
Can't you just put a good set of MSD wires on there?
No, nobody makes them.
Like,
you need a
make your
special.
own?
You need a special plug to go into the distributor.
Oh, the
there's like
distributor
one
side's
option.
your issue.
Yeah,
I can give you that one.
but I also blew spark plug wires off the '68 Camaro when I took it to Good Guys last year. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with all the spark plug wires?
it's just
And
yours.
They were very expensive MSD wires, and the retainer clips fell out of them, and I was not happy about that.
I bought like a kit that just came with a bunch of wire and a bunch of ends, and you just put them together.
Yeah.
And it was a mega pain in the ass, and I was convinced that I did every single one of them wrong, but so far they've been right, and
That sucks, by the way. Making your own spark plug wires blows.
yeah, it kind of does.
I would not recommend it. If somebody makes a kit that's more expensive that has the right ends and the right lengths on your... I don't care if it's double the price. You should probably just buy it anyway.
Yeah.
It is not worth it.
Peace of mind, it's totally worth it.
Yeah, it's a good connection, and you don't have to strip that wire back and try to clamp it down.
The
And
cheap crimp tool that it comes with is junk.
Yep.
You just squeeze it with a pair of pliers, the crimp tool.
Yep.
It's like 2 sections, and you put the wire in there, and you stick it together, and then you squeeze it with a pair of pliers, and then you're quite certain it's not right, and...
Did you buy your spark plug wires, Robbie, or you just use what was on there?
I use what was on there. I had
Okay.
MSD ones on there.
When you go to change them, just get an LS1 kit. Yeah.
I assumed that they're a dime a dozen. I figured I'd just...
Yeah, of all the guys who doesn't need to build his own, it's Robbie.
Yeah, for God's sakes, don't do it. It's not worth it.
Wouldn't even cross my mind.
Good.
Electrical? No. I'll just buy
Somebody
it.
else can do this, please.
I'll buy the wiring harness. I'll buy the spark plug wires.
we
It's
know.
fine.
We know. You've seen what I had to do.
Yeah.
Spencer came over to the shop a little while ago, and he kept pulling wires out. He's like, "What the fuck is this?"
Doesn't even have...
I'm like, dude,
it's not
just take it out.
connected.
If it's not attached to something, take it out. If it doesn't have a label on it, take it out.
So when I first got the Omni, there was this giant wiring harness that was kind of over right behind the passenger side headlight and then went along the side of the motor across the firewall and came over, and then there's just giant tangled mess behind the other headlight. And I just got in the car, had it like a week maybe, and I'm looking at it. I'm looking at one side, and I'm following wires. I'm like, this isn't hooked to anything. There's none of these are hooked to anything. Okay, and then I follow the bundle all the way to the other side of the car. And I'm like, no, this isn't hooked to anything. Nope, this isn't. Wait a second. None of these are hooked to a goddamn thing.
It's an empty wiring harness here.
But it was huge. I mean,
it was the OEM harness, wasn't it?
Yeah. And so the rule in the SCCA rule book does not say you can remove the factory wiring harness, therefore you can't.
Jeez.
So he had a factory wiring harness in it, but it wasn't connected to
So it had to be in the car for weight.
But they had an aftermarket harness.
But none of it was being used.
That's
not a
funny.
stitch of it.
That's awesome.
It's very funny.
So now it's not in the car anymore.
Yeah, why? What's the point? Exactly. Anyway, I think I'm done. I don't have any excuses for the RX-7 yet, other than my finger, my ring finger, gets stuck between the steering wheel and the turn signal, but I have the extension to fix that. That was fun when I was trying to drive it the other day. You turn the steering wheel and your finger would get the turn signal on an RX-7 is weird. It's on the dash, and it's like a little flipper thing. You like flip it up and down.
Yep.
It doesn't come off the column because the steering wheel's so close. Everything's so close to the dash.
Yep.
And so literally there was 3/4 of an inch between the steering wheel when I put it on, the aftermarket one I have, and the turn signal stock. So if you turn the wheel and you weren't paying attention, your finger got stuck between the steering wheel and the turn signal stock. But I'll fix that.
Yeah.
My Omni's the opposite way. When you're driving it, you have to take your hand off the steering wheel to reach forward to
grab the turn signal,
because it's got an aftermarket extension on it.
Yep.
And the steering wheel's so far away from where it's supposed to be. And that's always one of those things that catches me when I'm just hopped in it.
You just go to smack that.
You just go to, oh yeah, I got to take my hand off the steering wheel and yeah.
So anyway, I'm not going to use that steering wheel long term, but it's the original RX-7 steering wheel is so god awful terrible and huge and stupid and 80s looking that I had to just, I'm like, is there any other steering wheels in the shop? Because let's just put that on because this is so bad. So anyway, I think that's it for excuses, isn't it, Robbie?
I think so.
I just have one quick, not excuse related thing, but it just dawned on me that I wanted to talk about it.
So you're going to have an opener and a closer, if you know what I mean?
Sure. I don't even know what you're getting at, Robbie.
Opener made more sense.
I realized that I'm a real... I am the asshole that I hate when I drive the Omni.
Go on.
Because it cackles and pops and carries on when you're just like third gear pulls all the way to red line, and then you just dump the gas pedal, pop, bang, cackle, and I think it's hilarious and I love it, and so I'm that guy.
Oh yeah. And
I realize that as I'm doing it and thinking, boy, I'm not proud of this moment, but then I do it again.
But you're not doing it with like a big block with a 4-inch straight pipe
and
on
I'm
it,
like
you know what I mean?
10 miles out of town.
Yeah.
By myself. Like I'm not running up on the guy in front of me and then and like dropping back and then doing it. I'm not that guy.
Yep.
But I am like out there by myself and thinking like anybody who's at that farm place I just drove by is like,
going,
fuck
what
that
is
kid.
this asshole doing?
Yeah. What is that? What's he doing in that Volkswagen?
Well, yeah, the kid and the rabbit needs to calm down.
So, anyway.
Should we do the news presented by Titan Tanks, Robbie?
Let's do the news. We'll start this off by Dodge unveils the Demon at the New York Auto Show. And if you want to hear coverage on it, go to literally every other automotive website because they have about 3 articles apiece, and we're done.
I will say, I'm just going to say this one thing and I'm going to move on because nobody else is going to hear it. I literally watched Car and Driver live stream the event. It was 45 minutes long before the car came out. That's too long.
That's way too many minutes.
It's video
40 minutes longer than a reveal needs to be.
The video timed out or his phone died, one of the two, and then they had to go to a second live stream unveiling of the car. That's too much talking, Dodge.
Just show the car.
Just show the car and move on. I know it's past now, but in future events,
We've all seen it already.
don't find the most annoying guy in your office and tell him to stand in front of a crowd of people, literally like thousands of people, for 45 minutes and waste their time. And then millions of people on the internet. Just don't.
But do more burnouts on stage at your reveals because that was pretty sweet.
That was kind of cool. So anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about that.
So Ford builds this genius crib to help children fall asleep.
I want it. Sold.
So basically,
I'll take 2, please.
Ford, what is this, Ford Spain or something?
No,
Ford Spanish Design Studio.
There it is.
And they built a crib that's meant to simulate a car ride for an infant which people who have infants, I am told, they enjoy car rides.
Apparently.
And they fall asleep.
I mean, we didn't have to do it a lot because I've said to a lot of people, I got really lucky with the kid I have right now, and he seems to be like the easiest child on the planet, which means I can't have a second because it will be the spawn of Satan. Because that's
how it works.
Law
I
of
think
averages.
that's how that works.
Yeah.
Yep,
This
yep.
one's been really, really good.
So the
to
next
me.
one would be god
So
awful.
the next one would be terrible because I didn't get a middle ground.
Yeah.
So we did have to a few nights throw him in the car seat and go driving around at 2:00 in the morning because he wouldn't fall back asleep.
So this crib would solve all your
This
problems.
crib would be awesome. I'm all about it.
So it simulates the relaxing sounds, the motions of the car ride, and then it has like an engine hum sound, and then it also has like LEDs to like simulate streetlights.
Right.
So it's
It's
Boy,
kind of
they
the
really
whole.
put some thought into that.
It's kind of the whole package. Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought
quite the deal.
I thought it would just kind of do some, rocking and bouncing, and apparently it collects data off of your phone's motion sensor.
Yeah, so you could drive around and then
Yeah.
So it records my driving habits.
It's Skynet. Yeah. I mean,
So I
it's-
need to make sure to not have that on when I'm in the Omni. Then
when you're
Is what
racing, yeah.
or drive down Ingersoll, like I talked about last week or whatever it was, and nobody knew what I was talking about. But it's full of potholes, so don't drive down that road because your baby will be very upset.
All of a sudden, there's like this big jolt, and the baby
Yeah,
wakes
wakes
up and
up and
starts
is like,
crying.
"This is a
like,
shitty
well,
idea."
that was not a good move.
I didn't understand that because, like, why wouldn't you could just? I mean, an engineer could take a motion sensor
I
in
feel
a
like
car
that's unnecessary.
and just
Just get your program.
Yeah,
You
well,
wouldn't need to
drive it around the Ford test facility, at a normal pace, and okay, that's good enough data. We could just loop this 20-minute thing, and yeah, it's good enough. Just program
it's probably a sales gimmick that doesn't actually function.
Yeah, it's probably something that. And
It
I
just-
mean, if you would buy it, I don't think I would even bother. Like, why would you?
I'm questioning, does it work unless you do the thing though? The collect the data from your
Well, it's
car.
got to have a stock setting. Like
I don't know that
a
for sure.
generic.
I swear, if I get this thing out of the box and then I have to go drive around for 20
You have to go
minutes,
take your
no.
infant in the car and drive around.
No. No, I don't. Not doing that.
So they're not making it yet. They made one, but there's been enough.
There's a
Buzz
seems to be-
about it.
Yep, there's enough interest that they think they might actually do it.
I think it's a good idea. They should do it.
Unless it costs like $12,000. I think
Oh, it
it's
for sure will.
It probably will be $1,200.
It would probably be
Yeah.
wildly expensive.
I don't see why it needs to be that expensive.
But when I have a spawn of Satan, I'll be like, whatever. I don't care what it
Worth
costs.
it. Worth it.
I want to go to sleep.
Well, if Ford makes one for $1,200, someone will make a knockoff.
Porsche will make one
for
with fewer options for $20,000.
But it'll probably have a few carbon fiber bits.
Oh, sir would like a stand. That's another $1,200. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
So you said it was designed by their Spanish design team? Is that,
apparently, yes, it was.
so is that like GM's millennial design team, but better?
Much better.
No, I think they're just Spaniards.
From Spain.
But
Yeah.
I feel like that's better than millennials.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, Chrysler's Millennial.
I thought
whatever.
it was.
No, you're right, Chris.
It was because they made the terrible Portal and the future sucks.
Okay.
Remember that whole deal?
Right,
And then
no,
we got
for some
people
reason
mad.
I was thinking I'm getting Maven and the Portal mixed up.
Oh, okay.
Because
they're both terrible.
Because
and
I
you're
don't
just-
care
yeah.
enough to keep them separated in my mind.
Right. Well, yes. Apparently, they make more practical.
This is why
realistic
Ford is
things.
doing better than GM.
Yes,
it comes to
but
cars.
Speaking of market cap, they're smaller than GM.
Yeah, I don't know how.
It's just, but Tesla's bigger than both of them.
Nah, fuck that.
So back to that topic again.
Speaking of Tesla,
Yes.
the typical Tesla Model 3 will likely cost more than $50,000.
God, that was a smooth transition.
He was.
right
This is
there,
very
people.
professional. You've been listening to Jason Elsing, haven't you? Mike
No,
Tully.
Mike Tully.
Mike Tully, he can slide in a transition or a promo, and you just
bam.
you don't catch it till after. Like, oh shit!
Wait a second.
That was
No.
impressive.
That was good.
Robbie's been practicing. It's very expensive.
Yeah,
how much
because
did they say it was going to be?
It's in the $35,000 market,
Yep.
like which would put it next to the Volt. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
There's not. We
So
talked
these
about
are
this
like,
before. We
These are
said
like
there was no
option
way.
packages and stuff like that.
Yep. Like you could get like the added distant battery. Like if you
Yep.
buy the base model, you can only go 212 miles total. And then if you upgrade to the 300 mile range, it's an astronomical amount to jump up even to that. So it probably puts you up into the $40,000 bracket real fast.
You know what it is? It's that same bullshit we talked about a long time ago when I was looking at that Fiesta.
Yep.
Is that you want one thing, you got to take 20 other things with it. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
get the fancy battery pack. I just want to go another 70 miles or whatever.
That's the technology package, and then it has like
it's $8,000.
Yeah.
Shit. Okay, so now I'm up to 42, and it's like, oh, you wanted heated seats? Yeah, you're gonna have to buy another $3,000 worth of stuff.
You want
that's the luxury and comfort package,
Right.
Or
The
the,
cold weather package, and then next thing you know.
or the autonomous mode that everyone thinks they need with their Tesla. That's going to be another huge expense.
Yep.
But they did they surveyed all the people that put in pre-orders for them, and basically what happened was they listed out the options they were going to get with them, and nobody was at 35. The average was around 55.
Jesus, that's
a lot of
the
money.
average, which means that you can get even crazier from there.
I forgot to look up, what is a Tesla, what's the bottom S?
Isn't it like 60, or is it more?
I don't know.
I honestly don't remember.
How's your Google foo, Robbie, today?
Not super strong.
Is it quick?
But I know they've said you are not going to get a 100 Model 3.
Yeah, okay, yep.
You're not
Yep.
going to get the big
We're not
honcho.
we're not
I
gonna
don't think
shove
you're
all that
going to
shit
get
in
a
small
dual
one.
engine.
The MSRP is 68,000 on a Tesla
Okay,
Model
so
S.
you're still a little ways under that.
But
Yes.
you're not going to get a dual engine. So like, what are they all putting in here? How is this?
Crazy bullshit. Maybe there's a bigger tablet option. I don't know. Maybe we should option a Model 3.
Yeah, maybe or not.
See or don't. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I don't know that I care that much.
But no one's taking into account the fact that the government has already said that for like the tax breaks that right now is at like $7,500 per model. That stops after 200,000. Well, they've already pre-sold like 400,000. So for the first 200,000 people that get this, get like 75.
Does this to us all the
He's
time.
dropping some knowledge bombs right now that nobody else
Guys,
has
I'm on a
even
roll.
brought
And
up.
you're,
Okay,
you're,
sorry.
You're messing
Yep.
up my flow.
Okay.
So the first 200,000 people buy this and get $7,500 off.
Yep.
And then it immediately drops down to $3,750 for the next 6 months.
Okay.
And then after that drops down to $1,800.
Okay.
And then after that, every car after that is full market price. It doesn't matter. Like the government said, no more. So of the, 400,000 that they're supposedly have already sold,
A lot of people are going to be paying
best
55.
case scenario, 300,000 maybe is going to get some sort of a tax break, and everyone else is paying full price. And that's assuming they can deliver 400,000 vehicles, which I still
Question.
question.
So this is a tax break.
Yeah, your
Not
tax
a
credit.
So that's
or
a
whatever.
tax credit.
Tax credit, yeah.
So you're assuming that you can even take advantage of that. Like if I bought that with all the tax deductions I already have, I probably would see none of that.
How's that work?
I guess
I
I'm not sure.
haven't been in a situation where I've gotten an environmental tax break before.
I guess I don't know if
and how that applies to your.
are they just going to give me $7,500 no matter how much I paid in?
This is just for the electric car buying. Like this,
Right, I understand that. But is that back on your income tax return at the end of the year?
I think it's
Is
just
that
off
what
the
that tax
I
credit
think it's just
is?
off the price
or
of
is
the
that
vehicle.
off the price of the vehicle?
off the price of the vehicle.
Okay.
I think that's how they do it with all electric vehicles.
Okay.
Like I go into
'Cause to me, that's not a tax credit.
whatever you want to call it.
That's just a discount.
it's a federal credit under existing rules is what they call it.
Paid with taxes.
Yeah, so I walk into
Okay.
Chevy and I
think
said
that's-
I want
I see what you're getting.
Yeah.
I want a Volt, and they're like, "Well, here's your $5,000 tax credit," and then they drops your price. Or I don't know. Maybe it's not quite like that, but
I think maybe you are correct.
I was wondering if it was a deduction on my taxes. Because I probably wouldn't be able to use it anyway.
No, I don't think it's like a line item deduction.
That's what I'm talking
Yeah, no, not
No,
like
no.
that. I just don't know
Like,
how.
I have one for the baby,
Yeah.
and one for the house. And
Yeah, exactly.
one
No.
for your electric car.
Yeah, no, I don't. Pretty sure.
I don't think it's
I'm
like
like
that.
99% certain it's
Okay.
not like that. It is some sort of tangible credit.
It's off the top of the, if this cost me $30,000, now it costs me
That's
$2,250.
that's my understanding. If
Okay.
we are incorrect, somebody should tell us. But that is my understanding. Of
Okay.
this.
So this car, even though I don't think even with the tax breaks originally, it's still not going to be in the $35,000 tax or the price range that they claim it's going to be.
Yep.
And then in a year from now, it's definitely not going to be.
But everybody said GM was stupid because their Bolt costs like 35 or whatever.
35,000.
But I think that's I think a Bolt is kind of a Bolt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not going to option it up to 55.
No.
And you can have one now.
Yeah, you can get a Bolt right now, and then I don't know about the tax breaks anymore, but it was like quite a bit because it was dropping
Yeah.
it down into like the low 20s.
I still think I would trust GM build quality over Tesla build
That's
quality.
a big statement.
I know it is, but Tesla has not been building cars that long, and building cars is really, really, really difficult.
And they like technology.
which I'm not convinced is
And they like iPad things. You know what I mean? Touch screens and shit.
Open air updates and.
Yep. No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one.
I mean, I just feel like
Yeah.
pound for pound, there's a very good chance that GM builds a better product.
You put a Chevy Bolt in front of me and you put a Tesla Model 3 in front of me. You go, okay, you have to drive either one of these cars for the next 5 years. Which one do you choose? I have a hard time picking the Tesla because I have no reason to believe it's going to be with me in 5 years.
Oh, especially if it's my money.
Exactly.
Taking that Bolt for sure.
Yep.
I would like to drive each one for a month and then make the decision.
I don't think I'd even need the month.
I'd be interested.
I have a hard time buying any first gen of anything.
Yeah, that's
let alone a tech company's dream child of this cheap car.
That's how I feel about technology, not even just cars.
You're right.
But like never buy the first generation of a new kind of,
anything.
TV or anything
Phone.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get the second gen for
Which
sure.
is really what those Teslas are. They're just giant pieces of tech.
Put out very quickly.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Under the gun.
Yeah, crowdfunded with hopes and dreams saying we'll be done in the next 6 months, and then it turns out, oh shit, our building's not even built yet.
Yep. It's either going to explode in a fireball or it's going to be fine, and Tesla will be around in 10 years.
Yeah.
We shall
I just
see.
wonder, like, does the interior hold up? I mean, I know GM's not known for its interior quality and stuff like that, but it's still there.
Yep.
My S10 is not the prettiest interior on the planet, but it's all still where it belongs.
Yep. I would say the same about my SS. It's not the greatest interior,
But it's not the worst.
but it's not as terrible as the fucking Aspen that we have at work. It is the biggest piece of shit I've ever driven around in.
Is that a Chrysler
Chrysler, it's a Durango, but it's a Chrysler, and it is fucking awful.
Isn't that what the new Volkswagen SUV is called too? Is the Aspen?
No, I don't think so. It's called
Or
something
like
maybe
that.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I skipped over it for news because I didn't care.
Yeah, it's not that interesting.
Exactly.
But it is a massive piece of shit. It's like
the Aspen is?
yeah, it's like somebody was explained to somebody, here's what I want the interior to look like, and then an accountant got involved and they said you have $3 to spend on interior materials. He's like, I want it to look like a Bentley on the inside with wood paneling and all this shit, and then literally
But
they
only
spent
for the first 3 months.
no money whatsoever on it.
Yeah.
And it has zero steering feel. And I know people make fun of Chrysler for not having good steering feel. You don't understand how bad it actually is. Like literally, I could take my pinky and just press it against the steering wheel and move it. That's how there's no resistance. There's no feel. There's no feedback.
That's luxury, Michael.
It's god awful, is what it is.
Speaking of,
Because you put too much pressure on the wheel, and all of a sudden you're in like another lane and stuff. It's bad. It's not a good idea.
speaking of questionable build quality, Audi is about
Whoa. Whoa.
Audi
That was
is
a good link, Robbie.
Audi is
Whoa.
evaluating a DPI program, and that's a Daytona prototype, right?
Yeah. That's the new Daytona prototype class. For whatever that series is called now. They've joined with another series and they've changed names, and I don't even know what they're called right now, but yes.
So they dumped their Formula.
They dumped the
LMP1.
They're all like, maybe this Formula One. And then they're like, wait a second.
Let's do this.
Hold up,
The
bro.
Adam kid's fucking pissed about this.
Let's do the
10 Tenths Podcast does not approve of these
so
changes.
let's back off a second here and let's look at this DPI thing.
I think we need to take a moment to appreciate the fact that somebody has finally listened to feedback that we've given on this show and responded appropriately.
Of all the people,
It's Audi.
it was Audi.
Yeah, I know. And so
Robbie.
therefore I think my Audi fanboydom is solidified.
It's back.
I'm back. Yeah, I'm
better,
back.
I better go get myself a TT again.
I feel like I need an S3
I better go buy a TT.
on lease, of course. I'm not going to buy it. but-
I hope you both buy Audi products.
You know what you really need is that A3 that we found 8 months ago.
Oh, let's not talk about that. Still feel bad about that.
Yeah.
It was a
I'm still convinced
German
that car was not legal
German domestic
and would have
market.
been crushed.
German domestic market A3 two-door A3 with a bunch of mods and shit to it. It was dope, Robbie.
I know. I remember.
It was sweet.
So how is-
Celsius, Robbie.
Yeah. So how
Everything was in Celsius.
so how is Audi supposed to do this DPI classing program? What?
Build a DPI. I don't see how hard it can be. It's
Sounds
whatever.
like, it sounds like they don't have any.
Mazda's got one.
Sounds like
Mazda can do it. Audi can do it.
Well, sounds like Audi doesn't have any money to do racing.
Well, apparently they got lots of money if they're going into Formula One.
That's probably true. But that was like in 2025.
Yeah, I know. But I don't know. I don't know much about DPI. I'm going to be honest.
No.
I haven't really looked into their rule set, figured out the ins and the outs, because I'm not probably going to be competing in it anytime soon.
Do you think if they do this DPI program, they're just going to stop Formula One talks altogether, or do you think they'll
I wonder if that'd like segue into it. If success in one leads to success in the other.
I wouldn't think that anything that they do in DPI could in any way, shape, or form tie into Formula One other than keeping their engineers from getting rusty.
Yeah, I'm not.
But like technologies developed and stuff like that will in no way, shape, or form transfer.
No.
But
So you're thinking it's a one and done. You pick one, that's the one you're doing. You're not doing the other one anymore.
probably. But right now, DPI is just here.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yep.
Now, in the future, that may change, but I don't know that. I don't think.
Or are they,
like we talked about last week, LMP1 needs to get more people involved in it, or they're not going to be able to continue that class because it's just not feasible.
Yep.
You know, because right now there's just two cars in it, which
Right.
is not interesting.
No, it's not.
Well, two companies. I think there's 3 cars. So I think Porsche has 2. I think Toyota might only have 1. But it's just not going to be that interesting to watch, and so that's going to create problems. But there's already a handful of people in DPI, Chevy or Cadillac, I guess, Mazda, and I think there might be some privateers that run in there. So, you know, if Audi's in there, that may add some credibility to that class. They may look at taking it.
Oh yeah, outside of just the States.
You know, it may replace LMP1.
Sure.
Or it could potentially do that, which I think is something it needs to do. But
Yeah.
you know, for all I know, these DPI cars can be slower than LMP2 cars that exist already, so that wouldn't work well. I mean, I don't know enough about the class to say if it's capable of replacing LMP1, but someone's got to do something.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I don't think Audi can step away from racing entirely.
No, I would hope not.
They got to do something, and rallycross probably isn't the only answer.
No.
Not enough exposure.
No,
Yeah.
if you want to be successful in racing at that level with that much of a name recognition, you got to be something bigger.
Yep. Agreed.
So I feel like this is a good place because I'm certain it's a good bit cheaper than LMP1.
I would imagine, yes.
So,
And if it's a new class, you might be able to get in at the ground floor, have success right away, and then use that to piggyback into more success in
it's
other
going
races.
to be an uphill battle against Cadillac, but
Yeah.
if there's anybody out there who can do it, it's probably Audi.
I'm a Cadillac enthusiast before I'm an Audi enthusiast, even though I've never owned one. How's that hit you?
American.
Yeah. LS.
Yeah.
It would be really hard. It would come down to who's driving what for me to decide who I'm cheering for, to be completely honest.
Interesting.
Because I love that Cadillac races. And so
Yes.
I want to support that.
I agree.
Because they're a very strange company to be out there racing.
Yep. Cadillac seems to kind of play by their own rules recently, and there's something to be said about that.
It'd be hard to justify branding it as a Chevy since they have cars out there already in a lower class.
Yep.
And it definitely wouldn't make sense to be branded as a Buick or a GMC.
Agreed.
So that kind of leaves you with Cadillac.
And they want people to buy into the racing heritage, if you want to call it heritage, of the V Series Cadillacs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's race bred technology. That's why you're paying $90,000 for the CTSV. You know?
Right.
Yeah. So I get it. I understand.
They need an Escalade V.
Why don't they have an Escalade V?
That'd be
Why
sweet.
not?
That would sell.
I'm sure it would sell.
That'd be way sweet.
It could be $120,000 and people would buy it.
Aren't they already? That's what they are now.
Isn't that what they cost
I think
now?
they're 103. Is that what it was when I priced it the other day?
Well, at that point, who cares? What's
I
a
think
little
20
more?
grand between friends.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah,
It's called brand loyalty.
exactly. I think it would sell, unfortunately.
Speaking of ridiculous brand loyalty, we can move on. We can move on to the
Fucking
final.
roll, man.
We can move
Professional.
This was not planned.
A BMW Car Club of America chapter has banned some of the new BMWs from doing their track days, and then immediately backs out of that.
Oh, they did?
Oh yeah,
I didn't see that.
yeah. They put out on their newsletter or Facebook page or wherever they posted it out saying that they were going to ban all of the new BMWs that have driver assist that they can be turned off, but you might not.
Driver assist being automatic braking and
Lane
departure assistance.
Stuff like that. So then, so that came out a couple days ago, and then today I think this is the 12th. Another article came out saying that they actually they backed out of that specific chapter that put the article out said that no actually we're not banning anything yet, and we don't disagree with BMW and all their heritage racing and other shit they're trying to do now. Who cares? But other chapters, and not necessarily BMW in general, like some Porsche groups have come out and said, yeah, but we're not going to follow suit. We are still banning these cars from our track days.
Oh, really?
Not the BMWs in general, just these cars with driver assist, automatic braking, stuff like that.
Interesting.
And it makes sense. At the very least, they're taking a step back and saying, we're going to ban them until we know how to handle these on course. Because I see arguments for some people like, well, cars with driver assist, like automatic or anti-lock brakes and stuff like that, that's an advantage. You learn how to drive with it. And then to me, having a car with automatic braking, like even if you claim you can shut it off, a lot of those cars are programmed to override that in different scenarios. Like I think it was like a Corvette or some high level car that you would think you should be able to turn it off, and now it's race prepped.
Yep.
Not the case, and you get into a situation where all of a sudden your vehicle speed sensor goes out or something, and all of a sudden it throws your traction control back on, or throws you into some situation you weren't prepared for, and then you crash your car.
Yep. And so their concern is, I think one example they made was on a track, there are lines on a track which would simulate lane markings.
Yes.
And there are times where you drive over those lines, like if you drive on a curb or
any racing line.
Right. And there is a potential
the blend line for pits. I think would
true.
be the big one.
That's very true. It could veer you back onto the track. Is that what you mean?
Well, I mean, if you're exiting wide out of a corner and you kind of cross into pit lane, it might decide you're going into pit lane. Or if you're trying to exit and it won't let you
back on. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Either way,
kicks you back onto the track.
Even if you didn't mean to exit, but you were forced out there, you might be forced to exit now.
Right.
Or vice versa. It could go either way.
They're concerned that somebody's behind you. You have a line, they can guesstimate where your line is.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden your trajectory has been changed by the car or slammed on the brakes or something because it thinks you're veering off the road, in quotes. Now that person is in danger of running into you, especially if they don't have those driver aids. They may be expecting you to take the race line, and all of a sudden you're in front of them and you with your brakes on, and you didn't do it. The car did it, and they crash into you. So that is a potentially dangerous situation.
So yeah, it makes sense to me in that respect.
Yep.
Because and then I also think that you could, as the other driver, like I assume on track days stuff like that, you're really not driving that aggressively, but at the same time, other people could kind of take advantage of that, and you get in front of somebody and brake check them, and all of a sudden the car behind you automatically brakes.
Yep, absolutely.
And it just turns into this.
You're going to be a lot closer to the car. If you're doing 100 miles an hour, and the car in front of you starts to brake, I would assume that you're going to be a lot closer to that car than you would be in like a Autobahn situation.
Yep.
Let's say you're going to be a lot closer to that car, and that car is going to be braking a lot more aggressively, and the BMW may see that as a threat. It's like, oh shit, that's an emergency braking situation, and now we're over braking or braking unexpectedly, and the car behind you crashes into the back of you because that was unexpected. That was not the race, braking point.
They've got a BMW sandwich.
Yep, exactly.
And then cars that have that much technology in them, I would assume part of it, like, you hit a certain acceleration, it's going to throw a certain safety measure. I mean, if you go to a certain speed, like, you hit 120, all of a sudden these extra safety things come in.
We've seen safety devices deploy in a situation that it wasn't warranted ourselves.
We have, in a pretty minor situation.
In what was frankly a very minor situation, that there was a V6 Camaro that got up on what aren't really that bad of curbs at our local track in Marshalltown, and it blew the side impact bags because the car believed that it was going over.
Yeah,
it didn't.
And it clearly wasn't.
And the wheels didn't even leave the ground. It wasn't even, to me, it didn't even look close. And I know that guy semi well. We know like we recognize each other, know each other by association. And I saw him at Good Guys later that year, or maybe the year following or whatever. I don't know. I talked to him after that event. He brought it to the dealership. They plugged it in and said that the car saw, I don't remember what the numbers are, so I'm not even going to guess, but there a G load that was high enough that the car said, yep, we're going over.
And it wasn't even close.
And it wasn't even close. But it was a compound, like a situation where he was turning hard at speed, had the car already up on, some amount of G-force, and then it hit that bump and jarred it enough that that G spiked and came back down again. Mm-hmm. And that's what deployed those airbags. So we've seen, in a track situation, that could very easy, if there was a car behind him, that could very easily have gone really bad.
That
really
turns into
quick.
an accident really fast.
Yeah.
Because he slammed on the brakes.
Yeah,
And he lost visibility.
Yeah.
Because now his side curtains are covering his windows.
Yep.
So he can't see where he's at.
Yeah. Panic mode. You don't know what somebody's going to do when they panic. I mean, he
Yeah.
thought he
That's
shot at.
That's a
It
situation
was
that
so loud.
It was so loud.
I thought a tire blew. I thought he hit that curb and DB'd a tire and pop.
Yep.
So, because we were not that far from it.
no, we were right next to it, basically.
Yep.
But yeah, that's a situation you don't expect. You're not. The last thing you expect to do is have your airbags just deploy. Like you
Yep.
didn't hit anything. You didn't make a mistake. You're just driving. All of a sudden, bam.
So that's not even one of the things that they're concerned about, but we've seen that happen. And so I can see where they're concerned about all these other, low-level autonomy features.
Yep. I have a really good feeling about this, though. And I'll tell you why. Because BMW themselves are upset about autonomy features that they've put in their cars that are now upsetting consumers. Because consumers want to do track days. Consumers want track day cars. And now, this club obviously is backed out, but there's a potential that this could happen with other clubs or other HPD organizations. And so now they've caught the attention of the actual manufacturers of the cars and people saying, hey, if you can't provide a car that I can take to a track day, I'm not going to buy a car from you. Or I'm not going to buy an M3. I'm going to buy, I'm just going to buy a whatever, an X3 or a regular 3 Series, and then I'm going to get something. I'm going to take the rest of my money someplace else. So I think this is a crucial turning point, and I think the industry needs to pay very close attention to this because we may see some changes in how those autonomous controls are ultimately controlled by the consumer, and we may see some car manufacturers, maybe on a small scale, start to produce cars that are not autonomous in any way, shape, or form.
To kind of go back to what you said, you said people are worried about, are we able to disable these features entirely? Even if BMW says, hey, you just push this button and it shuts off, that means that I, as the driver, have to consciously remember each time I go out on the track, hit that button.
Yeah,
disable this feature. And I don't think that that's something that can be guaranteed.
Nope.
Absolutely not.
And they said that in there. They said, we cannot guarantee that somebody will do that every single time.
Because
Right.
100% of the time.
It just takes one time
Yep.
where you are focused on something else and you forget.
Or like Robbie said, are we 100% sure that it's some sort of incident or the car doesn't see something and says, whoa, that was dangerous?
Even if BMW can guarantee that if that feature is off, it won't do anything. Even if they say, nope, if it's off, it's off. It's gone. I still can't guarantee that you shut it off when you left paddock, which means that I can't guarantee that you're safe on track.
And it's not something as simple as disconnecting it completely, like a circuit in the fuse
pulling
box.
a fuse, yeah.
But because you can.
It's never that simple.
No,
anymore.
even just-
everything's tied together. You can't just pull a fuse.
Even just to turn the traction control off on a standard BMW now, there's YouTube videos explaining how to do it. It's that complicated. You're not, and it turns back on every time you turn the car off and back on.
That's a joke you see on Top Gear and all the likes all the time.
Oh yeah.
10 seconds, you have to hold the button down for 10 seconds.
And then you have to turn
key.
the key back and forth, then you have to hit the brake 6 times, but you have to do it at a certain speed, and then you have to turn the wheel, and then it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And no one's going to do that on a track day.
So I really wonder if we'll start to see, BMW, Porsche, these companies that really rely on
Enthusiast
drivers saying, okay, now we got to do something different. Do we make a red key that if this red key is in, this is all the oh shit stuff's turned off?
But then that has to mean that the track day organizer and the people in grid have to think, okay,
Is the red key in?
this is an M3 that's newer than 2017, so it could have these features. Which key's in his key hole?
Yeah, your tech inspection is going to have to go. It's going to be thorough. It has to be.
I think that's even...
But I still think this is good because we're talking about it.
It is good.
And people are saying we don't want this autonomous bullshit on our racetracks because it's not safe.
All new
out
cars are going to come with 3 keys: valet key, normal key, race key.
Maybe, or maybe we'll see them do something different where they make this is a track car.
Maybe. That'd be the better route, really.
Strip down track packs.
I just like the idea of
$20,000.
people finally saying like, okay, we really don't fucking want this stuff, so stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's dangerous now. It's dangerous.
So there's a market for it in some areas, but in other areas, it's not wanted.
Right.
And they need to define that line and say, okay, these models, it's pointless to even bother.
On my, executive package 5 Series,
Sure.
hell yeah. On my M3,
Probably not.
keep it.
Yep. Agreed. I think I got one more thing. I don't know if you guys knew I was going to do this or not, but I got to pull up right here.
I never pay attention
We have
to
a
the notes after,
special announcement. At the end of the show, we usually do a Titan roll. We do a little Titan
Yeah.
hat at the end.
Yeah.
This one's going to be different this week.
Oh, snap. I think I know what this is because I've been reading emails.
We've been talking about this. We haven't had a chance to announce this yet. We're going to give away a Titan tank
Woo!
via social media.
I want a Titan tank,
A giveaway.
but I can't get it.
You're going to have to buy it, Robbie.
But everyone else can get one.
We're going to be giving one away to one of our listeners. It's going to be a social media giveaway. We will have more details on that next week, but you guys should check out all of our social media.
Follow each and every one of them.
Yeah, if you're not following us already, you need to now because you need to get in
Early on this
in
deal.
time to get a Titan tank.
So we'll give out more details on exactly how you can apply for that giveaway and what exactly we're going to be giving away. But if you're really excited, like you should be, we're going to be giving away one of their Sidekick tanks, which is what we've talked about this on the show
It's the
before.
one that mounts in front of the rear wheel well, right?
It's one that
along the side of the
along
bed.
the side. Yep, along the side, and it's going to come with a transfer pump, and basically you can use that pump to transfer that fuel out of that into your race car. The transfer pump that it comes with is a 2-gallon per minute pump. It's a really great setup for really anybody that races anything and has a truck that they tow with.
Any form
it's,
of racing.
It's perfect. It doesn't obstruct your bed. Like I said, you can transfer fuel out of it very quickly. You can fill it up with whatever fuel you want to. Basically, if it's you got an E85 problem, like a lot of people do in Iowa, E85 is usually pretty easy to get. You go to a racetrack, sometimes you can't get it. You can put E85 in it. You can put race fuel in it.
Circle track guys run race fuel.
Yep, you can.
Your
can
high compression small blocks.
You can fill it full of race fuel. You can put diesel in it if you tow. If you do, mudding or anything like that, where those guys use diesel trucks and things like that, and they may tow that vehicle to the event. You can put diesel in there too, or just regular 91 or 93, whatever you want to do.
I think that Sidekick can be plumbed into your tank too, if you choose to do it that route.
I think anything's possible.
So
This is
if you want to use it to extend the fuel range on your truck,
yeah, you can
that's
use
a
it for that
feasibility
too.
as well.
We'll have more details on this, but this is really cool. I'm really excited about this, and you guys should be too. So anybody that has a use for any sort of transfer tank, moving fuel around at all, and you got a pickup, this is an awesome tank for that. So like I said, follow all the social media pages, and we'll have details about how you actually apply for that there. They'll probably come out before the next show does.
We got to figure that out.
Yep. And then on the next show, we'll talk more about how exactly you can apply. But in the meantime, you should follow us on social media anyway, and we'll talk about it there more. I think that's all I got. That's my big news.
This is so
Saving it for the end.
This is so crazy.
It's for the people that actually listen to the whole show. They're getting a reward.
Boom.
Free tank.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Follow Titan Tanks too,
Absolutely.
because these guys are like wildly supportive of what we're doing here, and that just feels really awesome.
They've been really cool about
kind of weird
helping us.
and so you should. They love us. You should love them.
They're a cool company, and they make the best fuel tanks that you can buy. So, and they've proved that by dropping them off a crane.
That's right.
It's just that simple. Should we wrap it up?
Yep.
Boom. Catch us next week. But as I've gotten older, it's less appealing. Like, you want to go out? I'm like, no, I just don't really want
Fuck
to.
that.
No. I don't want to be wrecked tomorrow.
I got a bunch of shit that I got to watch on television. I got some books.
My
at home.
Netflix queue is huge right now, bro.